Me and the guys been talking. We've been missing a caster for a while since Dave left, and we need to fill up that spot. We were thinking we need to get somebody who's like really smart to join us, like someone who's really got a good brain.
I got good brain. I think good.
No, Jordan, no.
But they can't just be smart, you know. Brain isn't everything. They also have to have a really good personality, someone really charismatic to join the team.
I got good.
No.
And they've also got to be funny. You know, Dave was really funny. He had good riffs, so we got to have not just smart, not just big personality. They've got to be able to make some good jokes too.
I can make good jokes.
Jordan, you can't even edit a video.
Harsh. Okay. It's fine.
I don't know. It's tough. Frog, what do you think?
Yeah, I could do it. I don't... Charlie, who is that guy? I have no idea.
Well, one of them was definitely Jordan.
Right, I saw him.
The other one, I think his name's like Gorf or something.
Oh, that's my bad. I've got this back.
Frog! I've heard of that guy. He's pretty dope.
In all seriousness, I am super excited to be joining the team here. I'll be on for phase 2. We got a great group of guys. It's gonna be a ton of fun. Another thing that's gonna be a ton of fun is the Roll Stars event. We'll keep going. We'll keep vibing. We're here in day number 2, and we've got solo laners versus mid laners part 2 here. I think it's Duo Q going up against Fonzo fam. We can take a look at the bracket as well. And after that match that we just saw, we had a 51-minute game, and then we had a 24-minute game. So I don't know what to expect for this second set of the day.
Yeah, that's kind of par for the course. I know that you're just now joining us. I'm sure you were watching at home.
Inexperienced,
Yeah, but
right.
some of these games have been, exactly what you'd expect, and then sometimes it's just people are switching up roles. They're switching up the gods that we're familiar with, and it's been a lot of fun. And that's the basis. As long as you're coming in expecting a lot of fun, active SMITE, you're going to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of fun in day 1 and still continuing on here in day number 2. We can take a look at the rosters as well, just to see how these teams are going to be rounding out. This will be the first time we're seeing the Fonzo fam, Haddix, Variety, fineokay, Cxnnahh, new to the SPL, first appearance here in the Roll Stars event as an SPL solo laner, and then Aquarius coming in. And we saw Duo Q yesterday, the Q brothers coming in with Venenu, Snoopy, and Hawkk. They put on some interesting games yesterday in particular. I think just like going off. I saw some quadra kills. So definitely up for some action here.
Yeah, I think that Duo Q has proven that they are certainly a force to be reckoned with. I think it's a little messed up that fineokay, just because he's the captain, just because he gets to draft the team, he got to name them the Fonzo fam. That's what he calls his subs, man. That's messed up. That's just free. That's just free advertising, as far as I'm concerned. That's messed up.
Well, it's also, it feels bad because if I was a member of the Fonzo fam,
right?
If I was a subscriber to fineokay, which obviously I am,
right?
I would want to play on this team.
You should feel obligated that your spot is there.
I should feel obligated to play on this team. It's certainly, though, expectations are high,
yeah,
I think.
For sure.
Solo laners won last year's event. That's why they got the bye this year. And I think we saw the other solo lane team just put on quite a show, right? They dominated in game number 2. They win one fight. They win in 24 minutes. They're able to come back, right, in game number 1. And now the Fonzo fam, we get a chance to look at them for the first time. I think expectations are arguably higher. I mean, there's some premier names on this team.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I think that both of these solo lane squads were, a force to be reckoned with just by name power alone. You look at Haddix, Variety, fineokay, Cxnnahh, and Aquarius. They should be, depending on, I'm curious, number 1, about the role selection, who's going to be where. That's always a fun guessing game. I know that Haddix loves playing some off-role every once in a while, sometimes popping in the jungle, and I believe when fineokay drafted him, he said something along the lines of Haddix has a nasty jungle, I'm going to draft him. Doesn't necessarily mean he has to play jungle, of course. Everyone comes into this event thinking they're going to play a certain role, and then they're able to switch it up. But at the very least, I'm thinking that we're going to see interesting god picks from this team in particular. And that's funny considering Duo Q's on the other side, and they also have interesting god picks. But I know that fineokay is a bit of a theory crafter. He likes to go for the tank Pele builds and things like that. So I'm expecting big things here from Fonzo fam.
Yeah, I mean, he's had some of the YouTube series with, A to Z gods playing everything under the sun, not only in the solo lane, the whole ranked speed run of winning a game on every role. So there's definitely some good minds here on the team of Fonzo fam, and the format of this event is just going to make things even more interesting, right? We haven't had a Game 3 yet today, quite a few Game 3s yesterday, but even in just 2 games, having to go to some gods that we haven't necessarily gotten to see quite as much, I'm interested personally to see if Pele is going to be a big focus. We saw a lot of pressure on that from DuoQ yesterday. We also just saw Baskin have a really solid game on the Pele, I think, as well. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here because we still have to come back to DuoQ and talk about this team fueled by Pegon, fueled by BennyQ. They looked great yesterday too.
Yep, it was such a pleasure getting to interview them after because the brotherly banter certainly does not end in the booth, right? It continues afterwards. BennyQ, I'm gonna say, had a rough time in solo lane, but on his own accord, he's saying that he was pulling aggro away. You know, he was 2-9, sometimes 3-11, some very high death games, but
he's getting in there.
Exactly, he was getting involved. He was pulling the jungler to his lane, which opens up the mass for his team. And in his own words, was the reason that Pegon was able to pop up because he was, I'm not going to say feeding, drawing aggro into his lane. That's what we'll call it.
It's only natural, right? He takes the credit. Everything that the other brother does, the other one should feel obligated to take the credit.
100%.
I think for those actions. And they've got a fantastic rest of the squad to round things out as well. Venenu was the one drafting this team coming out of the All-Stars event. They've got these 2 kind of up-and-comers, right, as well. Hawkk coming through after some fantastic performances we saw here at the Masters event just a little bit ago. And then, I mean, I think that the entire team just came together yesterday, and really how they won was quite impressive as well, because it wasn't domination games. It was plays like this, the triple kill, base defense, 2 different quadra kills from Pegon, Venenu dominating on the Freya. Like, they came back from huge deficits in both of their wins yesterday.
And that was the benefit of being able to listen in, right? We were able to listen into their comms, and I heard it 3 separate occasions. Oh, 2 Phoenixes down. This is where we're strongest. We're online. I like that they were in terrible spots where you should not be able to mount comebacks from, but it just made DuoQ stronger. So even if they fall behind in this set, even if, you know, we come to a 10K gold deficit and they're underneath their Titan, I wouldn't count them out because they can always make plays like this.
Yeah, Pegon. I mean, this is just... and I remember the comms on this one. They were just so calm. Like, there was no emotion at all.
I'm pretty sure Pegon said, "Can we end now?" Like, they're right there.
He's just, like, talking through what can actually happen after it. It was all logic, and they finally closed the game out, and then we heard the hype, right? They had to keep it inside, keep it bottled up until they were able to close out the win. But they were able to do so, knocked out the opposing team, and now they're here in our quarterfinals. They're going to be going up against the Fonzo fam, and I think this is sort of like a myth. I don't know how much, I'll get your thoughts, right? How much benefit do you think there is to actually being able to look at the drafts from yesterday, right? You think about an actual tournament, you think about Masters, it's a huge benefit to see teams before they can, or before they play each other. But, right, as we go into picks and bans, how much of a benefit really is it to see them just play in this sort of fun environment, unique role swap tourney?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It is useful to be able to see what the other teams are playing, but as far as, you know, the Fonzo fam is concerned, for example, because they had a bye, DuoQ could have changed up their whole strategy in the meantime, right? They don't have to go with the same style of play they were going yesterday, but seems like focusing out solo lane is something that both of these teams are looking towards. That Atlas band definitely one towards the BennyQ solo, not necessarily towards like a usual support like Atlas has typically played. But DuoQ also looking towards that solo lane because, hey, they're up against a bunch of solo laners. They know how to play Wukong and Jormungandr.
Yeah, and remember, these players, these teams, have the opportunities to change roles as well. I don't expect to see that in game number 1, but if they feel like something's not working out, they can try and shift the roles around a little bit. We'll have to see how Fonzo fam... It's an interesting lineup that they've chosen. They'll keep Aquarius over in the solo lane, Haddix in the jungle, Variety in mid, fineokay and Connor rounding out the duo lane. And so yesterday we talked a lot about how the pressure is highest for the person playing their role. They've chosen Aquarius to pick from the SCC team to be the one playing the native solo lane role here on this team.
Yeah, I don't think that it's always, hey, Aquarius is our best option in solo. Sometimes it's, You know, we don't have anyone who's confident. Like Aqua doesn't feel confident playing ADC. He doesn't want to play mid. He'd rather just feel safer. You know, it really does. We'll never know until we get to interview them after, assuming they win. Maybe BennyQ could also get that interview as well. It really does depend. But point is that Pele still taken away, which means BennyQ, they got to go to something else. They will grab that Cxnnahh in the first pick selection. And I'm going to warn you now, Frog. Trying to guess where some of these picks go before we see the full draft, even when we see the full draft, is a dangerous game because BennyQ in particular, they've been switching up the roles, they've been switching up the gods. Yeah, we don't know exactly where that Cxnnahh could go at any given moment.
I don't know if you recall, but when I was here for Masters, I did play the guessing game. I, in fact, said definitely that Hex Mamba were pushing it to a game 3 against the Oni Warriors. That didn't go super well for me. So I'm really like on a guessing hiatus.
That's probably for smart.
I'm sort of against it. So I won't even venture a guess as to where the Cxnnah is going. I feel decently confident, though, that I can say that Rama and Yemoja are going to be rounding out this dual lane for the Fonzo fam.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. I'm not going to put a definite on it because I've seen Rama mid played, so I'm not going to stamp my stamp of approval. However, you get the tier, you get the Cxnnahh now for BennyQ. They've got decent CC, they've got some burn towards objectives, which the Cxnnahh can provide. I'm wondering that because BennyQ was sticking towards like Guardians in the solo lane, right? And that's typically where we would see tier. Doesn't mean that we have to see him over in solo, but just looking at the rest of the composition, I know that Snoopy was having a good time just playing traditional hunters. He knows he's up against the Rama, and this works. This pick from Fonzo fam actually does act as a pseudo ban because he's been taking the Rama when he can. Those snipes are on point from Snoopy. Remember, used to play pro ADC, so he's always got that in the back pocket.
Yeah, I mean, both teams have some built-in flexibility on the other side, and one of the reasons why it's so slippery. Pegon looked great in the jungle. He's been playing Assassins in mid since his day 1 in the Pro League, so a lot of flexibility on both sides here. Looks like BennyQ wants to try and round out this ADC pick before the second phase of bans come through. It'll be Izanami coming through. An interesting prio pick to be picked in the first half of the draft, especially when so many other hunters are still on the table. Yeah,
it seems to me like pressure, probably the call here. Iza does it better than just about anyone. She does immediate wave clear. You don't have to hit level 2, which is a big contention point right now. If you're not able to clear purple and green buff and the chest camp early on, you get to land a little bit slower. Then you have to kill that minion hit level 2, whereas Iza, she can just full clear even at level 1 because those auto attacks just do so well. Means that Snoopy can't get put behind. Probably a good look. But the Fonzo fam, again, with another smart pick with the Susano. You're taking that one away from Pegon. He doesn't have access to it. You already banned away the Pele. Just seems like trying to focus out the jungle is a good strat here because Pegon was the majority of the kills for BennyQ yesterday.
Yeah, and if you ban away a pick, you're going to have to ban away that same pick in game number 2 if you still don't want to see it. But picking this Susano, using your Susano pick as a pseudo ban, Pegon's not going to be able to play that the rest of the set. It will go to Fonzo fam this game around. We'll see these bans round out for phase number 2. Supports taken off the board from the Fonzo fam. BennyQ taking away some soul lane jungle picks. Ravana and Bellona off the board. Little surprised to see the Bellona. And I think that may have been the reason. We saw a fantastic showing from Hercules in game 1 of set 1 of today. Julio looked great on it. And I think it was just asking to be picked here.
Yep, the Herc always going to have a good time in lane, especially if you're thinking you're up against the tier. Usually those two just ignore each other, but at the very least, should be fine to survive the CC, the damage that tier can provide. Again, assuming that Herc goes into solo and tier goes into it as well. Looking at the draft so far, it seems pretty run-of-the-mill, right? If this is a normal game, I would assume this is just normal picks throughout.
Oh, I don't.
Here's where we switch it up a little bit. The Serqet, possibly support. I guess tiers, if we're going to talk about both of them, tier's got better wave clear, Serqet's got better CC, so if I had to pick one, I would definitely throw the Serqet over towards support, but follow that up with the Poseidon. Some great burst damage, objective confirm, and control. Seems pretty strong here for BennyQ, but a lot of their CC is single target. Tier rarely is going to hit those big multi-man fearlesses, and Serqet, you know, she's only going to be able to target one person at a time, give or take. So I'm thinking a pick-based composition here from BennyQ.
Yeah, it seems like they might have a little bit of trouble locking the whole team down. And Fonzo fam, I think, with this last pick, have really picked into that. They grabbed this Zhong, notoriously a difficult mid laner to find a pick on, just very inherently tanky, but also one of those solo lane mages. So sort of staying in the god pool here for the solo laners.
Yep, and I think AoE team fight presence still very strong for Fonzo fam as well. Think of Typhoon, think of, you know, the ult from Zhong, think of Yemoja just rivers rebuking the middle of the team fight. A lot of AoE, a lot of, hey, we're trying to click 4 and just win the fight. All the while, I already talked about it, Duo Q seems more pick oriented. It looks like they want to find their picks in the jungle. Not going to have the greatest time in a 5v5 setting unless they're from a head standpoint. So if Fonzo fam is able to just slow down the early game, look to fight around objectives, look to go for true 5v5s, seems like that might play into their favor.
Yeah, and it seems like they might have that more team fight based composition. That might lean them towards the later stages of the game, which is where we saw Duo Q excel yesterday during their set. But also, you know, the team that they were playing at the time was drafting more towards early game. Do you feel like the pressure's on Duo Q to try and use this composition earlier to make sure Fonzo fam can't like get an even team fight stage later in the game?
I don't think that their comp just outright loses late game. It just becomes a lot more difficult, right?
Sure.
Duo Q, they have the ability to get active, and when you have the ability to get active, usually you should use it, right? You should be trying to find early picks. Level 2 even, Serqet is looking like a good time. The 2 into the 1, the Deathbane can do so much damage even if you're building tanky. So I'm thinking Duo Q probably comes out the gate swinging, looks for some picks, look to find just pressure in just about any lane they can find CC, whereas Fonzo fam, they can respond, or they can just say, let's survive, let's stall, let's wait until late game, because as we've been hearing from some of these players, the true SMITE game comes online 30 plus minutes. That's when the game really begins.
Yeah, it's definitely been a longer form meta, especially so, I think, for this event, because you have some roles that end up being like a little bit unsure. You don't necessarily know as well as like someone who's not a jungler playing the jungle role doesn't know their damage like the back of their hand. Right? They don't necessarily know their engage spots. They don't know the windows of opportunity as well. That being said, when you have a clearly defined, this comp is a little bit earlier game, this comp is a little bit later game, I'm interested in what lane they're going to end up forcing around, and as such, what lane Fonzo fam will end up having to protect. But we are ready to find out. Game number 1 right around the corner. Fonzo fam going up against Duo Q. You'll still have me, who's Frog, and Trelly up on the cast for this one. And I think I'll lead off with that question. That's sort of where my mind was at from an analysis point, is like, is there a lane for Duo Q that, you know, if you're this composition, you want to focus this one down? Or is there a lane from the Fonzo fam that you want to make sure your laner doesn't fall behind, make sure that this guy is going to have an even standing once we get to the team fight stage?
Well, number 1, I'm glad that we didn't put any certainties out there, because it is actually Hawkk going for the support. I did say it was possible. Wasn't my favorite option, considering the Serqet might just be a little bit better. However, if Hawkk likes the tier and Pegon wants to go onto the Serqet, it means BennyQ can go the full damage Cliodhna over in solo lane, which now I can answer your question. I would assume Pegon plays through solo, right? If you have access to a Guardian that BennyQ's playing, you're going to stay away. You're going to say, all right, bro, you don't have much farm, you don't have much clear, I'm going to avoid that lane. With a Cliodhna, you can try and play for that first blue buff invade. You can try and focus down Aquarius, or maybe even find a 1v1 versus Haddix in the jungle. I wouldn't be surprised if Duo Q did put a lot of their presence towards the right side of the map, really about as early as that first blue buff spawn.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely could see that early invade. Susano, I think, known for getting a little bit online later into the game, but definitely having some of that mid-game pressure as well. But this dual lane's going to have a lot of pressure as well. We already talked about the autos coming through from Snoopy, going to insta-clear that wave, but you add a warrior over there in the form of Hawkk. They were going to have a warrior and assassin. Hold that, though. The action is in the mid lane instead. Chernobog gets the tick damage, grabs the first blood on a Venenu.
People are still picking Poseidon, man. I'm amazed. Like, it's just, you're going to die. Even through the beads, you do not have the damage to step forward. Susano just does so much, especially if Haddix is able to get involved. He didn't even have to use Blink to confirm that kill. At least Chernobog was the one who gets the last hit, but now Snoopy has to dash away. Man, the Fonzo fam came to play. I said that BennyQ should come out of the gate swinging, but it seems like Fonzo fam are the ones who are striking first.
And they might want even more jungler here on the left-hand side. Blink in from Haddix onto Snoopy, beads early, but the combos are perfect, and Haddix grabs kill number 2, less than 2 minutes in, and Haddix has already been to 2 out of the 3 lanes.
I mean, he just runs straight left, realizes, hey, Snoopy already dashed. Well, might as well just go in for the pull. Put that jet stream there. Easy teleport to confirm the 2nd kill of the game so far. And Ven, remember, his beats are down. He's just stuck underneath tower. Hawkk is trying to get involved here. Pegon does have the flank, but not enough damage to find a kill. And actually, Pegon's getting turned on.
And Hawkk just blinked in. He doesn't have the movement to help Pegon. They'll try and contest the buff, but it's just gravy for the Fonzo fam. It was a 3v2. I don't know about that decision to go in. Hawkk was the one who engaged. He blinked onto the 3-man right there, forced to engage from Pegon. You might even be getting the damage here on the right side. Aquarius is beating down BennyQ. The assassin falls as well. 4 kills, double the minutes of the game. The Fonzo fan are on fire.
Man, this is hard to watch. I mean, 4-0 already. We knew the Soul Lane team was stacked, but it's looking difficult. BennyQ tries to go into the wall. His health was just not high enough. You have to have a certain percentage of your HP to be able to even go into the wall, and BennyQ was way too low to get away. And Aquarius just beats him down with auto attacks. Look at the build. Going into what I can only assume is Sigil into the Golden Blade. Extra clear. Whereas BennyQ, he wants Soul Leader. He wants his ult before he can really start swinging. Difficult time so far for BennyQ. I said that they needed to get active early. I have completely retracted that statement. They need to play as defensive as possible.
I mean, for the record, they did follow that advice. They've been active.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just by that definition, they've been active early. But they have not been on the better end of that activity. Down 4-0 early, down 2,000 gold early as well. And you look at some of these picks, they are going to struggle from behind. This tier especially is one that I'm looking at. You think of a Guardian support, something like this Yemoja. If you're in a team fight and you're Yemoja, you could be 4 levels down and you're still going to have the River's Rebuke. You're still going to have this huge impactful ultimate. But Hawkk, he's already behind, and it might get even worse. The ultimates come through, knocked up and knocked down. fineokay gets the last hit onto that one, and they continue the rampage. Well,
at the very least, Haddix can't play Susano again, you know? Like, game 2.
We're already thinking about that?
I mean,
we're 4 minutes in.
I'm just saying, if BennyQ don't want to worry about the early aggression, Haddix can't do it to him again. But in their own words again, I'm so glad that I got so much insight on this squad because I got to talk to both BennyQ and Pegon. I don't think they're sweating it. 2 Phoenixes down, you know, they were able to make comebacks for. They don't think the true game starts until 30-plus minutes. Let's hope they get to that point, because at the pace that Fonzo fam is setting, doesn't seem like it's going to stop anytime soon. Hawkk, level 3, still able to find a nice blink in, pulls the beats from Variety.
Yeah, level 3 is tough, but it's good to see that he has not lost the confidence, because if you're going to be active as tier, if you're going to be having an impact on the game, you definitely need to maintain that confidence, that level of ego, at least, that keeps you pushing up here in some of these lanes. But now we get a chance to take a breather, take a step back. We had a bunch of kills there, and you've got the lead for the Fonzo fam, but it's not dangerous yet necessarily. If they're able to tread water, keep it at this 2K gold level until that 30-minute point, like you were saying, I mean, they might even find their own sense of picks. Hawkk almost getting a nice fearless there on Kana, but I mean, if they're going to start getting back into this game, do they have an opportunity to try and push anywhere, or are they just trying to stay alive at the moment?
Oh, actually, let's see. Okay, Snoopy got hit by the Horrific in the stealth. I thought maybe fineokay had an ultimate, but did not quite have the cooldowns off. I mean, BennyQ is trying to step up to their buffs, you can tell. Snoopy wants this purple buff, if possible. Pegon does make the rotation. Remember, Haddix doesn't have the beats. Can he take someone out on his way? Does not seem like it's Snoopy. Lives to fight another day, and Pegon gets to stop that killing spree before it even starts. Haddix 2-1 now on the Susano.
Haddix may be getting a little bit overzealous, going all the way behind the tier 2, but BennyQ has the rotation sniffed out. This may still be a fight, though. Ultimate in from Hawkk, but a double fearless against the wall. Variety's got the rollout, but no ultimate available, and Hawkk grabs the last hit. A 3v1 if they want to chase down fineokay, but I think the health bar is too high. all of a sudden, BennyQ have 2 on the board.
Yep, they recognize that, hey, purple buff is probably where the invade's coming. We should group up there. We should all squad. And because you catch Jupow and Hawkk goes in for the double fearless, they know exactly where Fonzo fam's going to be, and they are able to collapse on it. You got to stop being so predictable. When you're playing through duo lane, when Snoopy, he's already been ganked twice at this point, all of BennyQ knew exactly where Fonzo fam was going to be.
Yeah, it's definitely a good rotation over the answer back, and a good pre-beads there from BennyQ. Knew that he might get pulled back in. Could have been another solo kill, but I mean, back towards the soul lane, even after that soul, we won't get a chance to, because a blink in from Hawkk brings Variety back, and he does not get to play the game. He's taken out once again, but Haddix is here for the answer back, and Snoopy falls in trade. A 1-for-1 though. I gotta feel like that's benefiting BennyQ.
Yep, you're able to take those trades when you're behind. Now, climbing back closer. That's the plan here. I've been really enjoying how Hawkk switched up after having that rough start, right? Tier support, you highlighted, I tend to agree. From behind, difficult to make work, right? You're not doing much damage. You truly are just going to be a CC bot. But if you're hitting Fearlesses at the right time when your team's able to follow up, that means that you actually are able to make an impact, which Hawkk has been doing. Very clutch, pulling the beads, and I expect him to continue to do so. Maybe Chernobog makes a rotation here soon, though. This Zhong did start Blink going into the Bancroft's Talon, has some good damage to be used, but has been largely just put in mid lane for the time being. And you have the ability to just blink over, change a complete fight over in duo lane. I got my eyes on Chernobog. I do want to see the Zhong get active, maybe against him at this point.
Blinked in, ultimate's there, and the ultimate is to follow as well from Venenu, but a triple stun, and the heal! It's not enough, though. It is enough for the double kill. He takes down 2 in a 1v3. Miraculous answer back. That Bancroft's Talon getting so much value. And then on the other side, Variety gets a solo kill as well. Fonzo fam, every time they see action, it feels like just great mechanical plays across the board.
Wow, I mean, Variety hitting the snipes, coming in clutch, showing that even solo laners have the Rama snipes when need be. And of course, I mean, I said how much damage Chernobog had, but I did not expect him to be able to 100-0 Pegon. I guess Pegon stuck around a bit too long. If you're going to use that last breath, you are going to sit and take a lot of the ghost shots, and that Expelled Demons did a ton of damage to confirm a double kill while Chernobog was essentially 1v3.
Yeah, I mean, he was completely alone. I thought he might get one to trade back. That was a great triple stun there in the mid lane, but that also goes to your point, how much damage he can do if he starts getting involved. If he shows up to just one of these duo lane fights, there's the potential to start a full-on team fight over here, and we might be leaning towards that time in the game. We've seen enough groupings at this point that I don't think the Gold Fury is out of the question to start asking about. And my first question goes to Secure. Despite this Poseidon falling a little bit early, I think has managed to hold on only a 1-level deficit. Certainly would be able to play the benefit if it were to be like a coin toss on one of these objective fights.
You'd think so, but as far as I'm concerned, Poseidon weighs the coin against your favor. It just does not work the same way. Kraken is just does not able to confirm too much. As there's, we finally get to see the blink in from Chernobog, all the while Hawkk's taking a lot of damage.
He finds himself in the back, and Hawkk is trapped in the ultimate, but this time it's the mid lane ultimate from the other side. Venenu trades back Haddix, and it's jungle for support. They use so much early on there to trap Hawkk in. Chernobog was left alone. The damage wasn't together. But now it might be, though, onto Variety. He's forced up into the ultimate. I don't think fineokay is in range to get here to help out Variety. It will be a successful gank onto the ADC as well. The kills just don't stop, man.
Yep, wrong place at the wrong time. Variety knows he's got pressure. He knows he has full Xe over Snoopy, so he steps forward, but did not expect to run into Pegon. And like I said earlier, you only get one pair of beads, easy lockdown. Pegon, though, is getting wrapped around. Haddix, a little bit tardy to the party, will not be able to find a pull. And Pegon gets the shield buff essentially for free. Does Haddix want to dive this, though? He has Blink, of course.
Oh, no. He wants it,
He
dude.
did want to. Did not have the ability to actually chase him down after the stealth comes through. So Haddix has to waste Blink. You know, essentially for nothing there. At least Snoopy doesn't get the wave.
He gets as close as he can. He denies the wave, but it's really just Haddix, like, making you feel his presence. Like, you have to respect him. He's sitting at the edge of the tower. You know what's running through his head. He tries to get the kill. He's forced to waste a blink. And at this point, I'm hesitating to see where these next kills are coming from, because every time we've seen a batch of kills, outside of the first couple of minutes, right, every batch of kills has come in groupings. We've had 3 kills here, we've had 2 kills here, and now, just 30 seconds away from this beacon spawning, have to ask if we're going to get rotations over from the left-hand side.
That is the question. Looks like Variety is not going to have a free time over in his lane. The Dark Portal off the mark, and
oh no.
Snoopy left?
Yeah, Hawkk is in completely.
Snoopy dashed out.
Snoopy, yeah, they went opposite directions. All the while, Variety has taken a good amount of damage. It's not bad poke from Hawkk, but now the beacon spawns at 12 minutes, and it's only the mid laners there to try and hop onto it. I don't know if Venenu wants to step up against Chernobog. I think probably smart to try and play the time here, but the real fight's still going on the left side, and Haddix has made his way over. He pulls Snoopy back. The dash is not long enough, and this time Hawkk goes the other way to try and escape. No ultimate available, and Chernobog rotating over as well. The Gold Fury gonna be picked up. They have to be careful here, though. Could be a coin flip.
Yeah, at this point, Gold Fury, you don't have ultimate here from Hawkk. BennyQ does have a good bit of damage, though, and the Fonzo fam forced to retreat for now. They're not going to go in for the Fury. They're going to go in for a kill onto Hawkk, but Rivers Rebuke off the mark. The Riptide will bring him back, though.
Yeah, he's being trapped, kept in place. He'll get taken down to start the fight. BennyQ and Pegon both on the left-hand side, and the chase is here from the rest of the team. The Fonzo fam going down the corridor, and BennyQ and Pegon are forced out completely. BennyQ down to half HP, Pegon still in the area, but this is going to make room for the Gold Fury to be started. Down to half HP, and look at Venenu on the top side. Does have the ultimate available. Pegon making space, and the ultimate hits 2! fineokay falls instantly, and Chernobog is soon to follow. Variety will make 3, and he managed to trade 1 back, but it should be Haddix, if they're careful, will take him down once again. A triple kill for BennyQ, picks the perfect time to engage, stops the Gold Fury, answers back 2 for 4.
But Aqua can't chase down BennyQ. Unfortunately, gets into the wall. All the while, DuoQ are going to make sure they're able to grab the Pyromancer instead. The Gold Fury starts up by Fonzo fam, but then finally connects with a big Kraken, shuts down that gold pull, and they're able to grab the Pyromancer after the fact. That's big from Pegon as well. I mean, so much CC coming from this Serqet, and luckily, the Cliodhna was there for all the follow-up.
It was perfect patience as well. I mean, they got chased down on the left-hand side. I think Pegon picked a fantastic point. They looked for maybe trying to get the steal. I thought he might hold on to the Kraken to try and force the steal, but at that point, the kills being more valuable. And I think if you're Fonzo fam, you had a lot of positives in that fight, but you got to rethink the full committals here if you want to have another Gold Fury.
Certainly do. BennyQ not going back to solo, actually sticks over from the left side of the map for now. Doesn't want to go forward. I was going to say, is he interested in fighting Variety? Does he want to get involved? With fineokay here and Chernobog not too far behind, BennyQ actually might get collapsed on here. Has to go into the wall before he gets too low. I mean, objectives down. The Gold Fury is still certainly something that both teams are after. And DuoQ, despite winning that fight pretty handedly, still needs that gold, right? They would like to come back if possible.
Now talk to me about these builds, right? We've seen these solo laners now rotate for the first time. BennyQ grabs a triple kill on that first rotation, and in large part due to the fact that I think he's acting as a jungler. He's pure offense at this point, even a third item offense. I thought that might be the defense, but so far he's just the double jungle in these fights. Won't even get a chance though. Hawkk in on the blink, and Pegon to follow right behind us. Variety's the early target, and the ultimate will come through in time. A good shell keeps him alive for long enough. Hawkk has to be there on the follow-up as soon as he lands if he wants to finish it off, and it's BennyQ who finds the last hit, but Hawkk has pushed up too far and will at least get traded out, and the dive is coming through. Soul Laners, no strangers to diving tier 1 towers, and Aquarius will grab that one as well. A 3-for-1 for what was an engage by DuoQ.
Yeah, I mean, Variety, no beats, unfortunately follows. And once you get the Kraken coming through, it was just too much. However, you're losing 3-1. I'm thinking that's a trade that Fonzo fam is happy to take. Pegon is sitting around. I don't think he would go in for the steal attempt, but this Gold Fury's not going down quickly. Pegon's got a chance to go in for a steal. It's a 50-50, and he's got damage.
One ability, and he doesn't steal it away, but he grabs the support. He'll trade away his life, I think. Boulder is, just barely on the bounce, but he is not. He's got backup. Haddix does miraculously able to take down the kill. Thought he may have been traded out. Fonzo fam, though, at the end of the day, they grab a fight win. They grab the Gold Fury as well. They're able to further their gold lead, now up to 5,000. And just like BennyQ was hanging around the left-hand side, Variety has made his way over to the right-hand side.
He certainly has. Maybe just afraid that, number one, the tower's gone, so Snoopy is going to be able to push up pretty freely for the time being. He's going to be able to try and grab... Oh, actually, Snoopy doesn't even stick around. I thought would be able to grab that tier 1 for free, but Snoopy doesn't have the information we do. He doesn't know how free that tower would be because there's no one around for the time being. But this beacon is spawning in here shortly, Frog. I assume we'll see a bit of a grouping towards it. Right now it's just the tanks, but I think Fonzo fam's setting up for a play here.
Fonzo fam are here closely, and we can maybe jump into a listen-in. Interested to see how this beacon fight's going to go.
Yeah, I have no Aegis.
I met and Horrific are up
She just
here.
dashed on me.
They're going
Careful
left.
left.
Careful left. We're getting beacon.
Yeah, I got scammed by the fucking post. They're hunting together.
It's all good. They just got a kill and got a beacon. It's fine.
That's Kraken and Serqet ult.
Is he still right?
Fucking Mickey ass combo.
Come defend left.
Oh, Pos is half HP in mid.
I have Blink now.
Okay.
Ah, I just am way too back.
Way back. Just keep farming. Serqet's coming right.
Yeah, Zhong pro. We should look for Pyro soon. Yeah, I mean, I'm fucking strong. And my next power spike's not for 1,000 gold, so...
Serqet's here. She warded her here. She's coming right.
I can come right if you want to false fight.
Nah, you can just.
I have
just
actives
push
up
mid.
now. I can come right after this. She might be waiting for purple.
Doesn't knock you down straight away. Could try and get my benevolence or whatever it's called, compassion. It's pretty OP.
This post, he has no Kraken.
Their comp.
Yeah,
It should be up soon. Tier mid, here, careful.
Clean is backing and left.
I'm on my way mid.
Yeah, we should just hover around Pyro right now. We should look for a pick on this post.
I'm coming.
If you get a Yemoja ult on him, he should just
Yeah,
be
yeah,
dead.
yeah.
He might be alone here. I'm gonna wrap under.
I don't see him at all.
Izzy Relics are up now
Yeah,
too.
very far back.
He's around Pyro.
Post is looking for me here.
Post is
I'm
back.
just
A lot
gonna
of
go on him.
pressure.
Okay.
Count
His
mid.
beats.
I can maybe catch him.
Clean is gonna come at a base. Be careful. Clean.
That's
They're
his
all
beats.
coming.
It's
in.
fine. It's his beats.
Serqet blink on me.
I'm gonna 8 med you. I'm getting fearless. This is good. This is good. This is good.
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
do so
yeah,
much
yeah,
damage?
yeah.
I horrific him all.
Look at Serqet.
I'm healing you.
Serqet beats.
They're all fucking one shot.
Nice.
Clear the wall, clear the wall.
The Pyro.
one
We're good,
HP,
we're good,
I'm
we're
literally
good,
one.
Pyro.
Okay. I can stay with heals though.
Yeah.
I can lifesteal on the way on the. Just go Pyro, go Pyro. I'm gonna go for the red here
What the
actually.
hell? Why did he blink clears me?
Can I go red or is that troll? Ah, you get that actually.
Well, it wasn't the beacon fight that we expected, but was certainly the mid fight, and it's continuing. Haddix was the one who started that off on the engage. Onto the mid laner, they managed to take down 2, grab the Pyromancer, and a lot of good communication there, I think we were hearing from the Fonzo fam, even during the downtime, just planning for the objectives, making sure they were all on the same page.
Yep. And, what I learned was, number one, Variety's very strong, very powerful with this Rama build online already. And, of course, Haddix called out the kill on the Ven before it even started. Just Ven does not have the damage to try and survive. There's not much peel. This is what I was talking about early on. Tier as a whole, this warrior support just does not have that much peel. He's going to be going for like 1 fearless, and usually that's the engage. That's not going to be keeping Susano off of you. That's going to be, hey, I brought someone to you, cracking them, and then Ven dies. That's been his role. Get a Kraken down and die. It's an unfortunate role, but he picked Poseidon, so he knew what he was getting into.
Yeah, definitely knew what he was getting into, especially in this first game where there are no restrictions. All the mid laners on the board, everybody available, opts to go for this Poseidon. And I'm not sure it has suited him well. The most deaths on his team outside of the other carry roles, Snoopy and Venenu, definitely struggling to stay alive in these fights. But Pegon looking for a little bit of an engage. Another time they try to catch Chernobog, and that will burn the beads off of the enemy mid laner, something they may be able to take advantage of around this next beacon or around this Gold Fury.
Yeah, as DuoQ is playing defensively, I'm curious how they want to play this defense, right? The Oni Fury is going to be a big talking point. They have to group up for a fight here. Don't know how their play will be because Pegon already went forward. He already pulled the beads off of Kana. Maybe they try to go in for a pick on into the Zhong. He's doing some big AoE damage, but from where I'm standing, it seems like Haddix is the biggest threat damage-wise.
Yeah, down 5k gold. Let's jump into a listen-in with DuoQ to see how they want to answer back on this left-hand side.
Actually, they might be up soon.
Someone's here. Someone's here. I have Rushan happening.
Yeah, Susano beads up in 10 seconds, I'm pretty sure.
20-20 on mine.
I think we just let Snoopy push right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, they're scared of fire.
Yemoja coming right.
Yemo's looking here.
Herc is here. Over. No one's shadowing the...
Reaver and 150.
Just still here. I might blink ult now.
Careful with the Zhong blink.
Yep.
Can we look for the Zhong maybe?
It's
he has no beads right now.
Can I just get my 20? I'm 20 off this.
Yeah, sure.
They see me backing.
Yeah, Yemo's up here.
I need one. Maybe the tower gets it. Yeah, red spawning.
I do get starter here as well, I think.
Yeah, I get starter.
I need 1 XP.
Do we see where they're going?
They're around. Zhong's in mid right now.
They're around left. They're around left.
I'm pulling this down.
They're gonna go beacon fight. I mean, I can hide in this wall and get a lot of value, maybe. I think I just on a 1.
I have Reaver on back
I don't see
right
gold
now.
animation.
Can I back for Reaver?
Yeah, you're good.
Can I back for starter as well?
Yeah. I think give gold. It pushes the farm into us anyway.
Need to get
Are they on
They're on
fire?
gold. They're on gold.
Okay.
Oh, they're
in
on
mid.
me? He missed. Pretty fine. I'm okay.
Don't try damage him?
I'm coming.
I'm trying.
Come on, never
I
mind.
missed, yeah.
Rama's on gold.
Yeah, Herc was with him.
Can we blow up the Yemoja by the way or no?
Looks like they just decide to play the power spikes. They give the Gold Fury away. They're giving the Beacon away as well. I mean, they were a team yesterday that, like you said, felt like their power spike was 2 Phoenixes down. So this definitely does feel like a pattern for them, but I don't know if I can agree with the decision making.
No, certainly not. I don't think that they actually feel like they get stronger when their Phoenixes are down, but Snoopy could need a little bit of help here. Both Relics does choose the correct way to dash, and now Haddix has to retreat. Beautiful play, holding on to the dash as long as possible, using the Aegis so that Haddix wastes the teleport, and now BennyQ's hunting. Don't think like he's going to find too much. But I do like the call from DuoQ. Let's not defend the Gold Fury. The Oni minions are just going to push farm into us anyways. Makes us not have to go as far to try and grab the wave, which means defensively we can still stall out. Pegon wants to hit level 20. I mean, Snoopy's still 2 levels away. Playing defensively does seem to fit their MO at the moment.
Pyromancer pulled by the Fonzo fam. DuoQ, nobody in range to contest the objective. It'll be another one for the red squad, and now 2 runic bombs in pocket to contest that secure that Kraken coming through from DuoQ if they do want to try and coin flip one of these objectives. But right now the Fonzo fam, they're more focused on this mid lane. Titans have spawned, are pushing down the mid lane. They'll take down this Order Titan, but on the other side, Pegon is satisfied with the fights, grabbed onto the support, and a missed ultimate from Hawkk. On the other side of the fight, he's left his team alone. Pegon gets caught out by Haddix. The ultimate is forced from Venenu, and the health bar is dangerously low. Haddix wants to chase this one, but a good whirlpool will stop the chase from the jungler. They drive back the Order Titan, they grab a pick, they grab a TKO. This may be a Fire Giant pull.
This does seem like it. Fonzo fam, fineokay is going to tank this one up. Only Hawkk is nearby, and remember, he does not have the ultimate to try and go forward. All he can do is CC and try and be annoying. The rest of DuoQ is not going to make it in time. As far as I'm concerned, you kill Hawkk and get the fire for free.
This one's falling slow, though. Let's jump into a listen with the Fonzo fam as they try and secure it.
Yeah.
You can come to this tier.
I'm gonna look for him, Eric.
Yeah, I can just down it.
Come back to final.
No, we're good.
Is it mid? No way it goes.
I'm just gonna go ahead and mid us. You just cool down,
Okay.
They're splitting mid. We can kill these guys. Can we catch them?
Yeah.
They're gonna be running over here. Can you go high side maybe?
Yeah.
We'll see if this is a bad chase or not. I
They
beat some blank up.
see me on this wave.
I don't blink, so I'm not gonna chase.
I'm going straight right out of base.
They could have ran down actually. Yeah, is it here?
I'm coming.
Post is here.
Be careful.
I'm fine.
I'm away.
I'm almost there as well.
Clean up. I can heal you as well.
I dashed under him.
Nice.
Okay.
Well played. Oops. I'm resetting.
I'm resetting, going right.
2.5k.
Just Serqet here.
Yeah, I didn't use actives that fight, so I
Okay.
literally did nothing. I'm just gonna run it down right. If I die, I die.
They get the Fire Giant. I think you called that one correctly. They kill Hawkk. Nobody else tries to contest. The surprising part, DuoQ try to play the macro game, try to push up, maybe get a little bit, maybe steal some camps, maybe look at a tier 2 tower, and you lose both your carries. Still off the board for 20 seconds. I mean, they've got time to even push with these carries dead.
Yeah, it seemed like Ben was hiding for a pick, wanted to find a Kraken possibly onto Haddix, but effortlessly jukes both Snoopy and Ben because he's got beads, he has so much movement, and was able to avoid the majority of the damage. All the while, Variety started pushing down left lane. Do you go in for a Phoenix at this point? Probably not. The respawns are too low, and Ben already back trying to help that defense, but at the very least, you take 2 tier 2 towers off the map, plenty of gold in pocket, and what's spawning in right away? That Primal Fury. So Fonzo fam able to put a lot of extra gold in their pockets. And I mean, DuoQ, they can step forward, but how much fight potential do they really have? The last couple fights have been, maybe they find a pick, but they lose at least 2 for the trade.
Yeah, and I feel like every time DuoQ has tried to engage, they've always ended up on the worst side of the fight. But maybe it's plays like this. They're trying to play a corner, maybe bait somebody in, but Fonzo fam are just pushing down right. They're playing the macro game. They're having none of it. They're ready to just get into these sieges. They've got the Fire Giant now for a limited amount of time, but
they're going for a wraparound.
All this positioning, I don't even think, like, nobody is in the vicinity of anybody else, and because Fonzo fam has chosen the right lane, all of this positioning from DuoQ gets wasted, I think. I don't even think they're going to make it back in time to defend the tier 2.
Yeah, I honestly thought they were going to go past tower, through Fire Giant, and then behind, which would have been a long-winded way of just going behind from your own jungle at this point. BennyQ, some good damage to the wall, and Haddix is waiting for him to come through. Knows that BennyQ's stuck in there. Look at them. They're trying to control the option. Where's he going to dash to? Has his way out. Aquarius just could not control where exactly BennyQ would exit the wall. And that means that all 3 tier 2s drop. Still a minute left on FG. But it doesn't seem like Fonzo fam's positioning to break the base. Does not seem like a Phoenix Siege is in their future. Just grab a Pyromancer as Pegon might be stepping a little bit too far forward.
He's pretty far up here. The blink in from Haddix, and Pegon does have the movement to get out of dodge as Hawkk is now maybe the focus, but BennyQ's in the back as well, and Venenu forced to use both relics right in front of Variety. The Kraken's off the mark, and the fight's continuing on both sides. Snoopy falls. Variety is still getting focused down as he falls as well, but on the other side, it's 3 down for DuoQ. Make it 4 as a double kill for Kana secures the support. It's only BennyQ left alive. He's going to have to pull off a miracle. Fire Giant still on for another couple of seconds. A 1 versus 4 here, and BennyQ is immediately forced into the wall. Does not have long left for this world if he gets continually chased down. Aquarius is forcing him out of the fight. Meanwhile, the rest of the Fonzo fam onto the Titan. They will close it out cleanly in 30 minutes and take game 1.
Wow, 29 minutes. Only 1 minute left on that Fire Giant buff, and they decided to go in for the ambush. Pegon wanted to fight at Pyromancer, and now Fonzo fam.
Oh, no.
They try to farm Snoopy in base, and they will do just that. When you got a lead like this, yeah, you can kind of make plays like that. Unfortunate, man. And you know what? I said it at, what, 4 minutes, and I'm going to repeat it. Haddix can't play Susano again. That's all I know.
That's, you know what? I was a little bit like cautious of that statement early on, like maybe we're jumping the gun a little bit, but yeah, I'm definitely holding on to that as like solace after that
It's
loss.
your first day here. Give it time. You'll learn to just give up hope on these comebacks. No, I think that DuoQ did have some. They were making some good picks. They had room. It was just Ven was either dying or taking someone with him when he was dying, and the issue is when relics are available, Poseidon, Kraken, if you don't get an Aegis and you die, I mean, you lose a lot of that value. So I'm glad to see Ven on something different next game. I think that'll be a big switch up. Poseidon just, in this meta where there's so much dive, Aqua and Haddix, they had a field day.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost beneficial that the format is forcing him off of this pick. Like, he has to play a different mid laner, maybe something a little bit more safe in this game number 2. No matter what, though, they've got to go back to the drawing board, try and answer back. We'll see if they can in game number 2 right after the break.
My exes and me, we don't talk anymore.
Welcome back, SMITE fans. If you're looking for your time to get your favorite team's gear, there's no better time than before Phase 2 starts. Before SPL Phase 2 starts, you want to get that gear online, head over to shop.smiteproleague.com. Our merch partner, Skulls, has been putting out some fantastic merch for us. I don't know if you've been seeing this stuff, Trelly. I mean, the designs are fantastic. The quality of the merch is fantastic. I've got a ton of their products at home, and they put together these fantastic new logos. You can see it up there on your screen. Thank you so much to Skulls for being our merch sponsor, and make sure to head over to shop.smiteproleague.com to pick up your favorite team's merch. Grab a hoodie, grab a t-shirt out there, and maybe grab something for one of these players that just dominated in that game number 1, Fonzo fam, taking it before the 30-minute mark, the other Soul Lane team to do that so far this weekend. I think that we left on the post game, and I want to start back on the post game. I am happy that if I'm the other team, I'm happy that Haddix does not get to have this Susano again.
Yeah, I would say so. If Fonzo fam did their homework, they know that Duo Q likes to play a later style game. 35 minutes plus is when they really get their stride. One way to counter that, don't let them get to that point. Just kill the Titan before 35 minutes, and that's exactly what Fonzo fam was able to do. Haddix comes out of the gates on the Susano, gets a kill early, sure, goes over to Chernobog and with the Zhong, then immediately goes to Duo, kills Snoopy, 2 kills in 1 minute, and just does not stop there. It really did seem like Haddix was on a roll, and I mean, 5 kills before 4 minutes at this point, right? That was the pace he was setting. But luckily, there is a rule put into place where once a god has been picked, it is out for the set, meaning there will be no more Haddix on Susano, so Duo Q can rest easy. Still are some picks that I think are deadly, but if you were questioning if Haddix had a jungle in his back pocket, if he was able to pilot jungle as well as his solo lane presence, yeah, look no further than game number 1.
Yeah, I don't think many people are asking that question anymore if they had it going into this set, and I'm sure that Duo Q are happy a couple of these other picks are taken off the table as well. No Zhong for Chernobog, no Hercules over there for Aquarius. They just worked so seamlessly in these team fights together. So much AoE, like you mentioned on the initial desk, right? They just had a bunch of big circles that were a bunch of area control in these team fights that really set them up for success, and you can see it here in the scorecards. 8, 2, and 10 for Chernobog, 12, 4, and 11 deathless for Aquarius. I mean, they just had a field day. It didn't feel like they were losing pressure anywhere.
Yeah, and because of that, I got to give credit to Chernobog as well. Solo lane new to the SPL was able to absolutely pop up on the Zhong, a pick that I did not expect to have that much control, that much damage, especially the 1v3. After that point, I was a believer, right? Once I saw Chernobog 1v3 get the double kill onto Pegon and Ven, I was like, okay, I understand where they're going here. I understand exactly why Chernobog went to the Zhong, so it makes total sense to me. However, now we got to see the bounce back, right? Duo Q, not a team that wants to just get rolled over 2-0'd, right? They want to try and make a comeback here. They need to make a stop. Where do they look to do so? Pegon, I believe he looked at solo lane a fair bit. You need to look elsewhere. I mean, BennyQ is more, I think he was flourishing being left on his own when he was on the Cliodhna. He could clear the waves, he could run away and continue to do so. It seemed like playing through Snoopy might have been a good avenue there. He got relatively ahead up until Variety found the solo kill, and then he got so many ganks towards his way. So maybe going over to duo lane as early as Haddix was able to in this game could change the pace of how that game number 1 went.
Right, I mean, we talk about the mid 3v3. They almost had the duo lane 3v3 in that game. There's so many fights around that. And as we jump into picks and bans for game number 2, it'll be interesting to see if the Fonzo fam, or if Duo Q rather, recognize that the Fonzo fam wants to fight around duo lane, so they pick something very explicitly with pressure that's able to win that fight. That being said, I'm not sure that you can pick something that has more pressure on paper than Izanami tier.
Well, they're both gone, so they couldn't. Yeah, they're not getting the Iza even if they wanted to. But you're right, trying to find something that clears the way faster than Iza, not easy to do. And in this case, luckily we have this lovely graphic that tells us all the gods that no longer can be picked, as well as the bans on top. So plenty taken away so far. The Pele and the Thanatos, 2 of these assassins that are still not going to be able to find their way through to a game just yet. So much dominance from Duo Q on those picks, and also all these solo laners have a Thanatos in the back pocket. If I've learned anything, I've seen that. However, DuoQ banned the Wukong, they banned the Yorm last time. This time one sneaks through. First pick, Jormungandr for Fonzo, fam.
Unsurprising, I think, to see the solo lane squad valuing this as highly as they have. And this still could have some flex potential as well. Could see it over in the support role. We've even once upon a time, I think, seen Yorm in the mid lane role. But
Zeros loved it.
Even that might be a stretch. We'll have to wait and see what more of the draft we can get. But on the other side, once again, by the second pick team, we see the duo lane hovered, or at least the what I think might be the duo lane. Still some flex potential here as well. On her could go into that mid lane as well. Terra could be a solo laner. I think we talked yesterday about BennyQ's Terra solo if he were to pull that out, even though it didn't go to him in that game. But they prioritize, once again, a little bit of pressure there. On her's got the pressure, but Terra, not the best levels 1 through 3.
Yeah, not necessarily. Decent wave clear, though. I guess buff clear, rather, I should say, because of those AoE auto attacks. So what we've seen before is the Terra, you know, you pull all 3 buffs together, AoE them as quickly as possible, and then run and see if you can pull an invade off. I'm thinking Fonzo fam, they've seen that strat before, might try and grab some extra pressure in duo just to deal with what Terra and Honor can provide. Again, assuming those picks go over to duo lane. But with Yorm, as far as I'm concerned, you have a great pick for Aquarius if he just wants to take it solo. Good clear throughout, relatively safe, assuming that you can get access to World Serpent. And throw a Freya into the mix, which, I mean, the win rate doesn't look fantastic. Only 3 games played, but has been absolutely shredding when given the opportunity to. This Freya pick, if she has peel, which Horus certainly does provide, I mean, she can 1v1 just about anyone.
Yeah, and one of those wins on the Freya came from Venenu, picking it yesterday. So definitely, once again, taking something away, the Fonzo fam limiting the picks that DuoQ can come through. But they grab the Horus, they grab the Freya, keeping the damage types sort of neutral there. But it definitely is something to note that, in theory, you know, if you put Freya in the ADC, if you put Yorm on the solo lane, 2 roles typically bringing physical damage, gonna have that magical damage. So have to keep an eye out for that on the second half of the draft. But DuoQ gonna round out their top 3 with Discordia. And admittedly, I'm surprised that we haven't seen as much Discordia this weekend at all. She feels like a little bit of a sleeper pick.
Yeah, I think that if you're able to get Disco passive, no matter who you are, you're able to win lane, right? It does just come in so massive, so giving it to a possible carry here from DuoQ, or even just jungle, right? If Pegon's able to grab it, could be disastrous for Fonzo fam. They got a late game style draft with the Freya already, so coming out the gate early on with the Disco passive, trying to get active early, could be a strategy here. Second wave of picks and bans continue, and I will say the picks and bans have been taking a lot longer than usual because you don't know where these picks are going, right? You know the players, but you don't know which role they're taking necessarily. You don't know if they're going to go with something a little bit off-putting, like the Freya mid, for example. So you really do have to think twice about just about every decision you make when it comes to picks and bans. When you look at something like On Her, Terra, Discordia, that to me seems a little bit easier, but you know that BennyQ, as you already highlighted, could take it into solo lane. He's played a lot of Guardians in that role so far, and it's not hard to hit Yorm with those abilities, right? I mean, they are very easy to land onto a big immobile target like Yorm, so something to consider. DuoQ have decided to take away junglers / solo laners with the Robin because Haddix loves the Horus, but he's playing jungle. I can't imagine he takes the Horus into the jungle, not after the game he just had on that Susano. So probably support and solo picked up there for Fonzo fam so far. I'm guessing that's what DuoQ's clocked in on. So focusing out Haddix, definitely a good look.
Yeah, I think the idea to target the jungler of the other team, Haddix was running the game, it felt like, for the first 10 minutes or so from Fonzo fam. They take away the set as well, would have been another fantastic flex pick that the Fonzo fam could have gone into. Notably though, still quite a few picks left on the board, right? We're not into a game 3 quite yet. Still only 1 set of these 10 gods you see at the bottom of your screen that are unavailable for this game, as the Fonzo fan with their 2 bans are also going to take away junglers as well. Awilish and Naja coming off the board. And both teams seemingly have held on to their jungler for this later half of the draft. It'll be DuoQ who actually get to have that last pick, potential to see the entire rest of the enemy draft And at that point, I would think you know, you have a better sense of where people are going. But even at this point, the bank time is running down. These decisions where they want to send gods, this Ares is going to get picked up, and that signifies to me at least one Guardian for the Soul Lane.
Man, I'm trying to read BennyQ's lips. I can't tell if he's saying, yeah, I'm going to diff Yorm on Ares solo.
Can we get a listen in during picks and bans?
No, I don't think so. I think we just have to try and guess what BennyQ wants, and I'm guessing that he's either saying, yeah, the Ares is going to go crazy in solo, or, yeah, you know what, I'm going to take the Terra, you grab your own support. That's got to be it, right? One of these Guardians is going into the solo lane. I just can't tell if it's the Ares or the Terra. Either way, I saw confidence on his face, and that is something that is very important. Throw a Hades into the mix. I mean, Chernobog is in mid lane, right? He played Zhong, and it's looking like he might be playing Hades. Both mages that have been more so played in the solo lane. So I guess Chernobog is sticking to what he knows. It's either that or they switch up and throw Aqua onto the Hades, which he has a fantastic Hades, by the way, and Chernobog takes the Yorm. Either one, a very tanky draft here from Fonzo fan, but they still have that late game damage, which Freya and Hades and even Lancelot can provide. I like how they've diversified their early to late game here.
I mean, we've talked about the solo laners as like you go in with mechanics, you go in with role knowledge. They won the event last time. I think part of that is just the versatility that their role brings. 4 of these 5 gods could totally be soul laners, right? Like Yorm, Horus, Hades, Lancelot have all been soul laners in the past. It's only Freya who really hasn't, and she's not seeing her true potential over there in the soul lane. She could be, though. Somebody's going to theory craft it. Either way, Fonzo fam grab a ton of comfort there and their 5 roles. DuoQ round out their draft with the Thor. A little bit surprising that Thor pick makes it all the way to number 10 in game 2, for that matter. Global pressure, you would think that the Soul Laners might be on to this pick, but I think the draft for DuoQ in particular is rounded out pretty nice.
Seems like Fonzo fam knew it was coming, knew it could be there, but they focused on more of the hard-carrying assassins that they haven't seen Pegon play. I mean, they have seen Pegon play, rather, the Wheelix, that I guess just would have a good time into the Hades, the Naja, and of course the Pele. Thor certainly still in his wheelhouse, however, I get the mindset here. It's easier to carry a game with the Pele, and honestly, Wheelix is just annoying to try and deal with. Not that the Thor hasn't been extremely destructive so far in this tournament when getting through, but I can see the mindset there from Fonzo fam. As far as I'm concerned, DuoQ, they have to be the ones to try and reset the momentum of this set so far. Fonzo fam take a very decisive victory in game number 1. They've got a Freya, so sitting back until 35 minutes, which used to be the strategy, is kind of just a little bit scarier. They're that on top of the Hades that's going to have so much CC, going to be able to pull beads and do a ton of damage in the process. With Horus, who's got the lockdown, I mean, you're pulling beads, you got setup, you got prot shred. Fonzo fam are looking lethal here.
Yeah, their composition is certainly not something to mess with, and I think it's still a little bit of a toss-up as to where these roles could go. I think you still might see, we've seen Freya in the jungle this weekend, we could see Jormungandr or Freya or Hades end up in this mid lane role. There's a lot of question marks here still, I think, about where things could go, and I've made my position clear. I'm not going to venture a guess. On the other side, though, the only thing left to the imagination, I think, is where these Guardians will end up. And I think looking at the other side, there's a lot of CC immunity. I'd almost rather put Ares in the Soul Lane because I'm not sure you're going to get a lot of value out of that ult in like these early fights.
I think I'm going to put my namesake on the line here, and I'm going to go for a guess, if you would allow me to. I think Chernobog takes the Hades mid. I think you're going the full run back. Of course, you just give fineokay the Horus. You get Lancelot, Haddix takes that into the jungle. Like that, everything goes where we think it goes after that, right? But DuoQ, I'm saying that I think BennyQ wants the Terra, man. I think as far as it probably would go better in the support, I saw something when Ares was locked in, and I'm guessing he was saying, you take the Ares. I've got the Terra. I can't read lips that well, but that's my guess of what he was saying.
Had to venture a guess, and I don't think there's any bad guesses here, especially like when we're considering how these first couple of minutes are going to go. I think DuoQ, I think you're right to point out, right? They have to hold on in the early game. Maybe it's on them to try and force something in the early game, but I think I'd be happy if they just waited. Like if they just didn't fall down 5-0 in the first 2 minutes, I think that would be a real positive.
Well, it would definitely be a step up. And
Right.
if that's all they're looking for, then yeah, just, stay in your Titan, stay in the well. You won't have to die. However, I think they want to push this to a game 3, and to do so, you got to get active for sure.
DuoQ has to get active. We'll see if they can. Game number 2, Fonzo fam versus DuoQ. We'll take a look at the roles, see where people have ended up, and naturally, you're right on the money.
Love that.
You put your namesake out on the line, you took a risk, it paid off.
Yep.
And on the other side, it looks like it's paid off as well. BennyQ taking the Terra into the Soul Lane. He's a little bit late out of base, still hanging on there, grabbing some items. And that's going to be like the most, arguably the weirdest pick here is maybe the Terra in the Soul Lane. Maybe the Hades in the mid lane. We can maybe get to both of those. But that brings you as the analyst into a question mark, right? How are these builds looking? Do you think Vamp Shroud's the right pickup? Do you think Sands of Time is the right pickup? How do you build these gods in these roles?
I do like the Vamp Shot on the Hades. I think just trying to get a little bit of extra tank stats into full damage is going to be the play. But if you're looking at the Terra solo, I'm not sure if there is a right selection, right? You have Sands of Time, which is going to give that CDR. BennyQ wants to do damage pretty much as early as possible. And if you're not building into something like Breastplate, for example, because you're up against a magical solo laner, you got to get that cooldown from somewhere, and it looks like the starter will be the call. So BennyQ just wants some MP5, certainly will work out. I'm curious as to see if is Pegon going to gank solo lane, right? It's hard to imagine Yorm surviving with no beads, because Aquarius did not go beads. He went teleport. A Thor combo into a damaged Terra combo. If you haven't seen damaged Terra, you guys are going to be in for some big burst. Not early on, but once BennyQ gets some items, it's a little bit deceptive how much Terra can really do a full damage build.
I mean, back in the day, I think this season, maybe it was last season, he played Terra in the mid lane. He's done it before.
Oh, it didn't look great, though.
It didn't look great, but he built the damage build. He's got experience. On the other side, though, Variety under some pressure here, and Snoopy hits the impale. This time, it's DuoQ on the board first. You said they had to get active. They start early on the left side of the map.
Certainly do. Putting Variety down, definitely a good look, as Chxnnahh ends up taking a tower shot there, trying to find the kill onto Pegon. Gotta be careful. Does still have Blink on this Hades. No beads, so not fearing the aggression. But being able to push Pegon back underneath this tower is definitely a good look. And man, I'm just wondering, because you can just destroy the monolith so easily. BennyQ is not having a good time up against Aquarius. When does Terra really just start swinging into a favorable position? And then I thought about it for a second, and it just seems like as long as you're even, you need someone to come through. Maybe that's why Pegon's making the rotation over to right lane. Cooldown buff, yes, but a possibility to make Aquarius' HP look a little bit worse for wear.
Got level 3 here for Pegon. Does have the wall to try and lock someone down. On the other side, though, Haddix has chosen the dual lane as the focus point once again, but will not be successful on that first gank attempt. Good knock-up immunity there used by Venenu. And I didn't even register this when we loaded in. They've swapped roles a little bit. Hawkk bringing this Discordia into the mid lane. Venenu moving away from the Poseidon mid into the support role. And that's where they got first blood. Whew, just off the mark. Thought BennyQ might be under some pressure there, but a little bit of a role swap from DuoQ.
Yeah, Hawkk said, listen, man, I was put on a show on the tier. I want to carry this game. Give me the Discordia. Ven obliged, went in for the Ares. So far, has looked good. I mean, that's, like you said, the first blood happened because Ven had some good damage on this Ares, and Snoopy was able to find the confirmation towards the kill. It is very difficult early on as Freya, even with Conduit Gem. Your clear is not the best. You need a little bit of attack speed before you can full clear a wave with only one proc of Pulse. Because of that, Variety falls down for first blood, and delaying that power spike is the call here for DuoQ. But the junglers have not really made their mark yet. That's what I've been looking for. Pegon and Haddix, once level 5 comes around, once you get access to an ultimate, maybe that, we'll start seeing some sparks fly. Ben could be in some trouble here, but pops the horrific, and Snoopy actually jumps in to make sure his support's in no danger for now.
Great whoop though, and the CC's coming from both sides as Chain is going on to both characters here on the dual lane. Fonzo fam continuing the pressure as fineokay forces the beads off of, has to find the knockup, but the cooldown is not in time, and good self-peel there. Snoopy will stay alive, but look for Pegon into the Anvil of Dawn. It's got to be in range, and he hits Variety, forces the beads, but no ultimate available. Pegon picks up the ADC for the second time. Some dual lane focus, duo Q up 2-0.
Yeah, beautiful ult, hitting level 5, and now Haddix wants to try and find a return kill, but Snoopy still has the leap, and Ven would not die to the Joust field. Probably the smart call, just to delay that one. And this is what I was talking about. Reset the momentum, get active early. Pegon does just that. Once he has Anvil of Dawn, he's immediately going in over on the left side of the map. And unfortunately for Variety, had just used the whoop. Like the second he landed, Variety used the whoop. Could not use it defensively, could not use it to get this Thor off of him. Even through the beads, ends up falling down. And that's the big L. Because now Snoopy could try and bully Variety out. He doesn't have Valkyrie's Discretion, doesn't have beads. Impale into the wall, Desert Fury, that could be a kill.
Yeah, I think it was just a couple of minions off level 5 there for Variety. And if he, yep, right there. If he had just killed a couple more minions, he would have had that Valkyrie's Discretion. May have been able to survive, but a well-timed gank there from Pegon, who's already getting active onto this door. And that's a new aspect we bring into this game. This global pressure did not exist last game, now existing on Pegon here. So if he wants to get involved, he can find these rotations a little bit easier. Haddix here first, though, this time, and Variety into the ultimate. Venenu's the target, but look for Pegon to come through. He's there with Snoopy to catch the 1-for-1, support for support, but a jump in from Snoopy, and Variety is late on the whoop. Haddix versus the jungler looking to be the combo kill, and Haddix takes the triple kill. A 3-for-2 trade. Haddix gets there first, and he cleans up in the end.
Man, the double tap needed to connect the second it did, and Haddix was waiting on that first ability. Gets the double tap, easy confirmation, and a triple kill for Haddix. That's going to give him a massive lead in the jungle. I mean, props to Pegon for showing up for his team, but if he had the ultimate, I'm thinking that goes a little bit differently. Haddix got to use the Grand Joust. He got to use the entirety of his kit. Pegon, unfortunately, ulted before Jotuns was finished, didn't have that CDR, and that means he had to walk up and just use Thor's hammer, his wall, his Berserker's Barrage. That Anvil of Dawn, that's your strength, and fighting without it just was not the best look. And now there's a big target on the Fonzo fam, and that's this Lancelot. I mean, 3-0 bounty needs to be shut down, and Haddix is going to be very difficult to kill. I mean, that shield on the horse, he's got the blink on top of the Grand Joust, so much movement. It's not easy to lock him down.
So far, 100% of the Fonzo fam's kills, and I'm going to milk that stat for as much as I possibly can as he holds on to that. But no question marks this game. They're still wanting to fight around this dual lane, and this time it's the mid laner who's joined in on the rotation. Cxnnahh and Haddix coming over will force out Pegon back to his side of the jungle. But I mean, definitely Duo Q doing a better job of holding on, right? They got first blood, they're even up in kills, but somehow they're still down in gold, right? Maybe even just after that triple kill spike, the Fonzo fam are just playing around the map a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if we take a look at net worth, Cxnnah's going to have just tons of gold at the moment. It doesn't even matter at this point because you got to make your kill. Is it Snoopy or is it Ven? Haddix seems to think it's Snoopy, but now return to the Ares means I don't think they get either of these kills. Had to make a decision, and it seems like the wrong one was made. I think you just all in Ares there and you kill him every single time, but Haddix thought Snoopy would have gotten just a little bit lower in the process. If you take a look at those net worth, yeah, Pegon, he's down about a solid 400 or so, and even Cxnnahh, a solid 500 gold or so in the mid lane. This Hades has been power farming, and that's the reason that net worth is looking solid here for the Fonzo fam. They're just farming better.
Farming a little bit better indeed, as now you continue to see yet another rotation towards this dual lane. The mid laners look to be on this side of the map as Venenu throws out a chain, steals away the shield buff, but it's all posturing right now. Second opportunity there that the mid laners have had to rotate towards this left-hand side. Haddix, though, I mean, last game we saw him in the dual lane a lot, but he was successful every time, I believe. Every single time he came over, he was able to get a kill or an assist. This time, I think he's come over 4 or 5 times, and he's only been successful once. In the last time we saw that split focus, they weren't able to come away with a kill. Is this dual lane focus now almost to the detriment? Because you're basically letting DuoQ stem the bleeding by just staying alive.
All right, well, that one time he came over, he got a triple kill, and Variety has 0 rings. So as far as I'm concerned, it's not the biggest deal. Once Variety gets access to Hasten Ring, Freya becomes an actual character. Purple buff invade, though, and Pegon's nearby. This one is not going the way of Fonzo fam. There's just no way, considering how much presence is put over towards the left side of the map. I was looking, is Chernobog coming? Is Haddix coming? They are, but they're a little bit late. They're not going to be able to show up too quickly. And Chernobog does have Blink. That whoop should confirm a death onto Venenu, just waiting for Chernobog to use the ultimate, pulls him back in. Who gets the credit? Variety. That's big. The 0-3 Freya needed that last hit.
You trade ultimates there between the mid laner and the support, but Venenu is the one who ends up falling. And you're right, that kill goes a long way towards this first power spike. Just a little bit of action here continuing in the mid lane. Kana, no ultimate available, but the ultimates from the other side will not connect, losing out on that golden apple of discord. It will be a little bit of a reset, though, and I'm interested to see where this power spike comes through from Variety. You mentioned the Hasten Ring possibility. Telekine's also, I think, on the table. Regardless, though, should come in before we start to talk about these objectives. Beacon is on my mind. That was something that last game Fonzo fam got, I think, all 3 of the beacons, and we're able to have fantastic tower pressure, fantastic objective pressure. That's even bigger this game because they don't have a traditional ADC.
Yep, and I think because Variety was able to finish up the Hasten Ring before that fight, he's going to be a lot stronger. The Fonzo fam should be able to set up at least some presence towards that beacon, but you got to look towards these soul laners as well. Both have teleport. Aquarius is actually up and useful. BennyQ is down for another minute, so he still could use it to get over towards the beacon. But trying to force out these soul laners before the fight is a good, smart play. That's why we see Pegon posturing towards the right. That's probably also why fineokay is also over there. They want to try and fight here. BennyQ and Aqua not looking too healthy.
He used the dash early. He's got the ultimate, but will not have any escape available. He used it for clear instead. That's opened the window, though, on the other side. They know the jungler's not here, and Variety is a little bit vulnerable. Trade ult for ult. No Valkyrie's discretion, no Ares ultimate for this next fight as well, but they're continuing the pressure on the right-hand side. DuoQ, the only ones who lose a player in that exchange, and back to the gray screen, but he will be up for this beacon.
That's important. His teleport will also be available, but Variety lost the ultimate, and that tells me one thing. DuoQ is looking to gank this Freya. They want to find damage onto Freya. They want to pull the beads. They want to pull the ultimate. At the moment, Variety's safe, but if Pegon gets near and Snoopy is nearby, you have to beads the Anvil of Dawn, and that's when Snoopy jumps in and goes for the Desert Fury and tries to confirm that kill. With time only increasing, 30 seconds until the beacons come to, you got to make sure protecting Snoopy and protecting Variety, these ADCs, if they do decide to rotate in, is on your mind, because they're doing, I would say, a good portion of the damage. Besides these junglers, Haddix and Pegon still do have plenty of DPS.
As this beacon comes up, it's the engage from the Fonzo fam. They're looking at Snoopy, who will get away with the jump over the wall, but they're continuing in onto the fight. fineokay takes the ultimate, and the Aegis comes out from Hawkk. How are they still alive? They trade back a couple of kills. It's a 2-for-1 thus far. fineokay, the only one left for the Fonzo fam, all the way in the enemy jungle. A 2-3-for-1 as 3 members of the Fonzo fam fall. DuoQ take a huge win just as the objective spawns.
Yeah, just did not seem like a great idea to go to the skies and horse ult underneath the tower. There was not enough damage. Aqua is going to get as much presence as he can on the beacon for now, but it doesn't seem like the rest of the team is going to be following suit. One more member of DuoQ would be enough to confirm this beacon, and actually Aqua's getting pretty low even without the squad. Pegon wanted to find the wall, over the wall, but could not. And it's finally time for Variety to get involved. With the hammer still available, Pegon's not in too much trouble, even with Valkyrie's discretion. Not enough damage. But actually, Ven might be in some trouble with the teleport. Ven uses the ultimate, but it's only stalling the inevitable.
It's on to Venenu, and he will fall first. But they've got 4 members over here.
Gold.
And the Gold Fury's up. They may try and pull this. It's got to be on DuoQ. Let's jump into a listening with the Fonzo fam as they look to take the objective.
Sticking on it.
Oh,
They might try and trade Pyro.
It's not up yet. It'll be fun.
I've healed 3.
They're kind of walking.
I'm looking for Disco. Disco no relics.
I'm just hitting gold. I'm hitting
Yeah,
gold.
stand
might
gold.
be
Stand
fine
gold. Stand
still.
gold.
It's 1k.
Sure. Get that prop buff.
I think it's down for me.
Okay. Let's get vision on Pyro now. Let's get a ward
We
on
can throw
bags.
this and then walk up for deep vision and left.
Yep. I have a max heal.
Yeah.
There's an on her and left. No beads on this guy.
I'm not gonna be there.
Okay. He's coming
I
over.
can be there now.
Yeah,
I'm hunting duo.
beads
I'm
and
hunting
ult
duo.
They're looking for something.
We can look
try
for
and
Ares.
bait, yeah.
I'm walking over the sentries,
I
so
have
it
my
should be.
completion
They don't
shard
know
for
me.
Ares.
Do you know if they've ward up here?
Oh, he missed chain.
Look for I'm coming.
I'm gonna stun him.
I'm on here for now.
Do we have forest?
Be careful.
Just kill Ares.
Terra could TP again.
Okay.
Terra could TP again.
His ult
That's
should
it.
go
That's it.
down.
I need to
Yeah,
leave.
yeah.
I need to ult.
Right on.
Fucking horrific. Throw ult.
Yeah, I'm just dead.
He's landing now.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I should have
good.
beats either.
I can come to you, Connor. On my way.
Damn, dead. Stop beats.
Huge ultimate coming through from Pegon on the other side. They grab the Soul Laner as well. A 3-for-0 across the map. You heard the comms there. The idea was right? They all jumped onto Venenu. They had the same target. But the execution was not there. Ven's a little bit tankier now. Pegon had the Anvil of Dawn this time. And, well, you saw how it went.
I love the number one. The call was, let's go on to Ven. I think it's just too much damage. But finally, DuoQ has overstayed their welcome. Pegon already used the hammer. How much damage does Variety have? Plenty. Gonna immediately burn through. And now Snoopy's in some trouble because Aqua used the teleport in. DuoQ, you overstayed your welcome.
Yeah, Fonzo fam, we're not happy with how the duo lane fight went the last time around. They decided to remedy that, come over and grab 3 of their own. And it's just in time for them to look at this Pyromancer. Spawned just a couple of minutes ago. They grabbed the previous Gold Fury, and now I think looking to get this objective, maybe even looking to get the tier 1 as well. We're early enough in the game. These death timers aren't too long, but certainly enough as they start to group up here. Pretty early in the game, though, to see these 4-man groupings potentially. Already, it looks like Fonzo fam are trying to force these team fight scenarios.
Yeah, they have plenty of damage, so forcing the team fight isn't necessarily the worst call. It's just losing the tier 2 tower on left that's the big issue, right? DuoQ was able to make the gold at least a little bit better for them until tier 1 goes down, Pyromancer goes down, and possibly a gank onto BennyQ here. Doesn't seem like too much damage comes their way, and also BennyQ's got a lot of healing. Look at the anti-heal. It's just Aqua for the time being. There was no Brawler's beat stick on the side of Haddix, so BennyQ, he can shake off that gank no problem.
Yeah, we haven't gotten back to this build since we started at the top of the game. You mentioned he wanted a little bit of CDR with this starter item. Turns out he wanted a lot of CDR. So he jumped into the Chronos Pendant and that Prophetic Cloak third. A little bit of an interesting look here. But definitely tanky, as we can see from that attempted gank over on the right-hand side. As yet again, you see a little bit of a grouping here in the mid lane, and I think both teams have the objectives on their mind. This Gold Fury just a couple of seconds from spawning here, and they might even look to get involved in the fight earlier than that. fineokay dropped down to half, can't use the dash, has to beads away for it, and will be forced into the skies, but this may be the counter engage. Just forced away on the ultimates as the jungler will lose his ultimate as well. That's a lot of resources down before this Gold Fury spawns.
Yeah, Primal Fury is a big deal as well. Both teams are putting some presence towards it, but as you said, fineokay loses beads, loses ultimate. Variety also loses the ult in the process. All the while, yeah, Pegon Anvil of Dawns, and of course, Ben used the ult, but they've got plenty of CC without it. The wall alone from Thor is enough to set up the chains for Ven. You can try and run someone down, but DuoQ, they've got a commanding presence here. Look how far up Kana is.
Yeah, they have to paddle back in this fight. Let's jump into a listen, and with DuoQ, they're trying to survive.
Nice. Play to live if you can.
I have cooldowns in 4. Afraid no pulse.
Fred.
I blocked him.
Trade horse. Hey, horse no beats. Horse no beats.
Yeah, just show
I'm
him.
farming them.
It's all
Farming them all.
Abilities in 3, abilities
No
in 3.
buttons.
Oh.
Hawkk maybe kill somebody.
Undead as fuck here, probably.
Beats, Lance.
Dude, I am farming them.
Oh, they're so low.
No, I missed.
It's okay, I got my hammer knocked up. Don't have much. They're doing beacon.
I can kind of run it.
That's all their beats down. Frey no
Yeah,
beats.
I've ult in 20. I'm up in 10. I don't think they can't do gold. I don't think. If you can just try
They're
to
just gonna
flip them.
beacon.
They're running. They're running a Hawkk.
Yeah.
They're running Hawkk.
I'm okay, I'm okay.
Try to peel him.
Lance blink down.
Wait, what is that damage to you?
Damn.
What? He's one him if you're 500.
Yeah, he's
They're on it.
Actually, I guess. Fuck me.
They might be going to gold. Not really sure.
Yeah, I think that that incredulous kind of reaction from Hawkk is maybe what we all felt right there. But even before that, Pegon wants to steal, maybe wants the kills before that. He'll dunk in onto 3 and gets a huge double tap, a double kill for the junglers. Pegon stops the objective in its tracks and has his team to come help bail him out. Variety trades one back at least, but he knocks down the members there. Chernobog answers back with Snoopy. It's a huge engage on the ultimate there, but not enough to slow things down for the Fonzo fam. They'll grab the 2. They'll probably chase down Venenu here. At least they're off the Gold Fury.
Yep, Ven, he does decent damage, but it's all about stalling for the moment. Will Hawkk be able to make it back? Will BennyQ be able to make it back? Seems like Ven did his job. Made sure Primal Fury didn't drop down, hit 3 chains, and stalled. We heard the comms, and Ven, I think we've all been there as a support. When you go big and the fight's already over and there's just no follow-up, he's like, bro, I was owning, I horrificed all of them, I chain 3. Wasn't enough to get any sort of win in that fight, but was enough to make sure you grab the beacon afterwards, and Fonzo fam did not make it out with the Primal Fury just yet. So that is 2 small wins in favor of Duo Q for the time being. But Variety is still a threat. Haddix, as we heard from Hawkk, is doing a surprising amount of damage on this Lancelot. And it doesn't seem to be stopping here. There are still power spikes to be had for Fonzo fam. Scary stuff. If it's not on Pegon for hitting a massive ultimate, I think that goes so much worse there for Duo Q.
Yeah, no, I think they definitely lose their Primal Fury. I thought he was just going to go in for the steal and try and hammer out, but he takes a different route, grabs a double kill of his own. And going back to Hawkk, I mean, I think it's interesting there, just the dichotomy. You don't see Lancelot super often, so you're like surprised at the damage. You don't have that mental feeling of how fast he's going to kill you. Fonzo fam, though, they group up, they grab the Pyromancer without contention. Maybe, though, that's because Duo Q are playing the macro. They're on this left side, pushing down the Phoenix. Variety's here, though, and so is Aquarius. The teleport back in stops the push in its tracks. And they will only get to half health on that bird. Interesting thought process there from the Duo Q, though.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea. If it's only Variety or if it's only Aquarius, definitely able to find at least that Phoenix and then possibly a kill afterwards, or even, you know, the call is just a stall at that point. But because Variety and Aqua both come through, I thought there was going to be more chase down potential. I guess the pillar was just enough.
Oof.
Pegon and Hawkk showing the synergy of this team comp. Turns out the apple doesn't go through Thor walls.
As it turns out, the synergy between Thor and Disco. I'm sure we'll see a fight later, though, where it'll help. Like, it'll put a Thor wall down, it'll help the apple bounce back. But for now, that ultimate's going to be down, and that may signal for the Fonzo fam that they want to try and take this Gold Fury fight once again. It's all 5 members here on this left side of the map. Snoopy will be backing, though, which will give a small advantage to the Fonzo fam if they realize it. Let's jump into a listen-in with the Fonzo fam as they look for this objective.
Oracles. You should make sure they don't go fire. Do they do fire fast?
No.
They would have crossed a ward.
It's fine. Thor's here.
Alright, it's 50%.
It's 50.
They're in mid, they're in mid, it's fine.
Bomb
They
this
can't do
probably.
shit.
Can you tank?
Yeah, you can reset to me.
Behind on Thor, maybe.
Yeah.
I can jump on
I'm ulting him. That's Aegis.
Yeah. And beats, and beats.
We can
I'm cutting him off.
Yeah, we can ult over. Do you guys
There's
want
people
to
around, there's people around.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
can't walk into them blind.
That's Thor
I'm
beats
just gonna
Aegis.
wait and heal up here.
Yeah.
Did you say Thor to what?
Beats Aegis.
Okay.
I kind of want to play this corner and look for a win.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm around.
He's up here. We get another war banner stack.
Okay, we'll
Actually, I'm gonna go back for starter.
I'm looking for this Terran, right? She's dashed.
Yeah, I'm coming.
It's 2 in mid.
We won't have Harry.
3 in
I'm
mid.
going high side on her.
I stopped Harry's.
Someone else is here. Thor's here. Thor's here. Terra's here.
Disco slow rotating
That's
over.
Hammer.
Disco slow
I can blink
rotating
if she
over.
justice you again.
That's dash. Thor.
Yeah.
Disco's gonna be there.
Disco's here. Disco's here.
Be careful.
I can heal us. I can
If he
heal us.
lands on me, I can.
Ares on her coming in as well. I'm almost there. I'm almost there.
I have ult in 4,
dead,
ult in
I'm
4, ult in 4, ult in 4.
My beats. Be dead.
It's fine, get out.
Just chains.
I'm looking at honor, I'm looking at honor if he
Yeah, I'm
chases
coming
you more.
Harry. I have heal.
It's fine, we can just bait them, we can bait
Terra
them.
beats.
Couple different engages there from the Fonzo fam, nothing successful. In fact, they lose Kana just for the attempt, and they'll lose the ultimate off of Haddix here as DuoQ chasing down the mid lane back towards the tier 1 tower. They were trying to force something, they just couldn't find it.
Yeah, I like the call from Haddix. I mean, blowing up Pegon before he got up in the air was definitely the play. Unfortunately, Kana goes forward, ends up using his ultimate onto BennyQ, which really does not find enough. Variety so weak, the bouncing ball will not be enough to find the kill. Variety definitely needs to back up here as BennyQ has some shatter damage, will not be able to reach, but DuoQ steps forward because of some questionable target selection there from the Fonzo fam. Now they're retreating back. A Pyromancer is spawning in here shortly, and at the moment, there's only one Runic Bomb in play, and that's in Variety's pocket.
This could be a re-engage. Aquarius is the target early on, and into the ultimate he does not survive. He's taken down early on, and now Haddix is the target, but he manages to trade for Hawkk. He's still alive in this fight, as well as Kana gets back from base, and he gets taken down. The timeline, the alternate timeline as well from BennyQ keeps him alive, and the fight goes the way of DuoQ. They take down 3. Hawkk, the only member to fall. And this Phoenix looks to be on the chopping block. A 4 versus 2 here. They'll grab the Phoenix. I think they've got to back off, but Haddix may be looking for the re-engage, look for the blink. He's got to find it onto Pegon. He needs the damage to come through, but the impale is there, and the turnaround is good from DuoQ. It's only fineokay left alive. The mid Phoenix is down. They have a path into the base, but it's not enough. The respawn timers are there. They take the Phoenix and back off.
It just did not seem like a play that Haddix had to make, especially without beads. Venenu has been on point with these chains and make sure that he's able to chain him down. Haddix can't get on the horse, can't do much afterwards. I just don't see why. If you're not defending the Phoenix, which wasn't even possible, you even blink in at that point, but really wanted to find a re-engage, so possibly Fonzo fam looks towards Fire Giant if that fight goes better, but it does not. Losing Haddix and fineokay means the end of the aggression for now, and that could have been another free beacon for DuoQ, but they didn't end up going for it.
No, they got it.
Oh, they did? Okay, they ended up grabbing it just beforehand, and now the Titans are running down right lane. Smart call then for BennyQ to stick around just a little bit longer to make sure that beacon goes through. And now we'll probably see a grouping towards Pyro and the right side of the map.
All of a sudden, DuoQ have the reins in their hands, firmly holding control of this game. At least it feels like that in terms of map pressure. Gold, relatively even. Levels, relatively even as well. Only a 1 level deficit there in the support role. The difference is these 3 beacons. 15% additional structure damage is going to be coming through from the members of DuoQ as they look to push down these objectives, push down these towers. 3% additional movement speed as well. They have the advantage here, it feels like, on map, even though the gold feels relatively even.
Certainly does. DuoQ pushes forward, and the Fonzo fam are poised for a defense, not for a fight. Remember, there is still fire minions pushing through mid, which Kana was going to deal with. But a beautiful blanket for Ben. He grabs 3.
Grabs 3, forces some relics, and Aquarius on the other side of the fight gets stunned out. But the Titan is still the focus from DuoQ as BennyQ and Venenu get dropped down low. And to the skies goes Horus. Snoopy forced down extremely low and has to use the Aegis as Pegon is off the mark on his own ultimate. 2 fall early on for DuoQ, and the Fonzo fam are forcing themselves up the lane. Aquarius grabs a double, fineokay grabs a fourth, and a deicide as Haddix closes out with the last hit. A 5-for-1. Fonzo fam find the re-engage.
Now they gotta find what they're gonna do without variety. I mean, Aquarius is working on Titan, Kanna's clearing fire minions, and fineokay and Haddix are attempting to do FG. It's gonna take a while. They should be able to be successful on all three of these fronts, keeping number 1, the minions off their Titan, number 2, that Titan down, and number 3, the fire giant going through. It's just gonna take a long time here, Frog, and I think this is the call. Let the fire minions push. Why not? It's not like Duo Q can backdoor your Titan in the meantime. A little bit of fire damage isn't going to be the end of the world, and you need some extra damage. Are they good teammates, though? Do they wait for variety? Let's find out.
It's pretty low.
They're doing it.
I think they've got the time.
Right,
I think they've got the time. Just a couple of seconds. I was going to question if they would wait for EFG, but we're a little bit too far away from that point in the game. Full minute and a half. They do grab the regular fire giant, though, all 5 members of the Fonzo fam. And where Duo Q did feel like they had control of the map state, it is Fonzo fam instead with an amazing answer back in the form of that fight. I mean, how did that go so wrong? It felt like Venenu had a great engage.
Yeah, Venenu had a great engage, but he didn't pull anyone, right? He forced ultimates, he forced relics, sure, but there wasn't too much follow-up. Pegon goes to dive the backline. All the while, Chernobog and Aquarius find the wraparound. Haddix dives deep into the back, and I don't know if you saw how much damage Chernobog was able to do, but he just finished that sacrificial shroud, which means the Hades damage was popping, the poly shots as well. It was just a great ultimate. Being able to find the burst onto Snoopy, force the dash, and then ult in BennyQ. I think Chernobog's ult really did win that team fight for Fonzo fam.
Well, both teams a little bit separate here as they decide where to push. It looks like Duo Q going to head towards the Primal Fury, trying to at least play the macro game here, but on the other side, Fonzo fam looked like they're just ready to start pushing down these towers. In fact, let's jump into a listen-in with the Fonzo fam during the split push. They got to try and get these towers.
That's fine. Go right, go straight to Phoenix, straight to Phoenix.
Yeah, I bump for this, I bump for this.
We have a wave as well, we have a wave as well. I'm in stun Terra.
Okay. I'm on their backline, I'm looking for disco,
Disco's
Honor. Look at Honor 1.
Trying to keep your
I need
hands
help.
down. Did we get a Phoenix?
Dead.
Nice job, Eddie.
I'm dead again.
I'm hitting
That's
Phoenix.
fine.
I'm getting out, I'm
Just
getting out.
Walk out now.
Those gonna
Try to help us out.
Those gonna cut stop.
Falls all in, falls all in.
We can still fight.
Terra double dash. I can look for Pixar,
I'm looking at Thor.
I'm one. I'm dead.
Yeah, I'm just getting out.
Just gotta just one tap my ass.
Try and give you a... Nah, I'm just...
Probably dead.
Yeah, I have no relics, I don't think I can hold.
Hawkk might kill you. Oh,
sucks.
Close. I think we're fine.
Yeah.
They're not gonna get there in 30 seconds.
Yeah, you got Connor in 30 as
They're
well.
just shoving up right.
I'll have ult.
Well, the Fonzo fam managed to grab the right side Phoenix, but all the while, they lose the fight and they lose the mid Phoenix. They feel like they're fine. I think they might be right. I don't think the Duo Q has the time to end the game right there, but maybe a little bit of an overzealous taking both the fight and the Phoenix there at the end.
But remember, Variety already voiced it. He has no relics here. Pegon teleports forward. But, well, here comes the gank from Hawkk. How much does Variety have to try and survive here? Jukes the ultimate, but does get rooted in place. Woo! Should be falling down. The whoop does not matter. But Chernobog, can he return the kill? The stun tells me probably not.
He does get stunned out. That's going to slow down the aggression here. Early on, all 5 members, though, and Pegon's in on the engage, but the blink in, Chernobog goes in instead of out, and immediately gets turned around on, but he grabs one for his troubles and will take down the mid laner in time as Haddix falls as well. Right off the respawns, the players of the Fonzo fam have to fight for their lives. It's only the tanks remaining, a 4v2 here in the enemy Titan room. They've got the fire minions pushing down, half HP for fineokay. He's the first one to get focused down, and they turn onto Aquarius and onto the Titan, but it is not falling fast. The target focus is split, and the health bars are falling low. Snoopy is caught in the enemy base. He'll get taken down by Aquarius. They split focus the entire fight. The damage is not there, and the 2v4 defense is successful for the Fonzo fam. They take down 2 in return.
Wow, Variety just spawned back in. That could have been nasty. Pegon did not get up to the sky, and of course, you highlight it well. The target selection was a bit off. I think fineokay did his best he could. As long as he had beads there, he was able to survive, in which case Aqua tanks all of the damage from Snoopy, makes sure that Titan does not fall, and then used his Aegis into the ultimate. World Serpent, just too disruptive. They could not focus down the Titan, and now Fonzo fam, back and forth game, are in a better position because of it. The Titan did not take too much damage. Right side fire minions are still going to be a threat for duo Q, and Fonzo fam's able to push forward. Remember, Pegon was able to backdoor that Phoenix with this Bumbasphere build. You got to think that's not going to work a second time. Fonzo fam's going to have wards ready. They should be prepared for a possible play like that. And this is going to be enhanced Fire Giant Frog. A lot more difficult to try and defend. Both teams, I'm going to call it relatively even at this point, are going to have a hard time going in for a pull. It's all going to be pick-based, and if Ven just blinks in like he did last time, sure, he can pull relics, but is he going to be able to survive? That's the question.
EFG on the map. Both of these Phoenixes, both teams have 1 Phoenix down. Looking to respawn, though, just as this EFG respawns, so should not be a problem of fire minions pushing into either team's base. It's a big question on engage here. Who is going to find the engage? Last time, it was Venenu who was looking for it. That didn't end up paying off, maybe reconsidering how they want to look at this fight. Meanwhile, Fonzo fam playing the macro game. Over on the left-hand side, they'll grab the Oni Fury. And I think it's a question. Is it Ven? Like, is that the best way to pull relics, or is it something like a Terald? Where do you find this engage?
I think Ven's going to always go in first. Blink, horrific, just try and get everything down. All the while, BennyQ follows after and Pegon goes to the sky. The question is who's getting deleted first, because what I've seen, Chernobog has been doing some big burst damage with the poly shots. Of course, Variety also built into a Polynomicon. It seems like he was ready to try and shred through some of these Phoenixes. Not the best for Frey to go for DPS. That's why Venenu is not getting burned through like he used to. Doesn't seem like Variety can shred him like he was previously.
Well, duo has the positioning. The onus is on them to find the engage. Let's jump into a listen-in with duo as they look to secure this game.
If they might pull, They're pulling, they pulled it. They can't do it.
Lance is definitely going to come like this.
It's like 80,
90, 80.
Probably just walk up then. Just play up.
They're off it,
They're backing off.
I'm getting
repush mid.
There's an Oni wave mid. Oni wave mid.
Can you hover with me?
Yeah.
Guys, I'm not with you.
Wait, he thinks I don't see him. Aw, there's one here.
Lucky.
We have to get that Oni
You
wave.
swear
They might horse ult.
I have to hover. I have to hover Pegon here.
Yeah, they're horse ulting. Horse ulting.
Where?
I think help me.
I don't know.
I think
Maybe.
Lance is right here. Lance is right here.
Yeah, it's bad.
Wait, we're gonna fight you. I owned.
Lance is here. Careful for
Should I get in the air?
You're good.
Put on this.
That's horse ult.
I can look for something. Maybe
They're
beats
like
here.
all like here.
Be really careful of the Lance around here.
I got Magi's.
He's gonna slip mid again.
Can we look for the stuns?
I can maybe wall hammer.
Yeah, Lance jump.
Just jump.
Do we have anything on him?
Nah.
I'm pushing with that wave then.
I can get a stun here.
Okay.
Just be really careful. I don't like this quarter. It's gonna make our carries
That's
unlucky.
We need to have mid
Wait, is
push.
Lance alone again?
Because mid is always like a threat.
If Lance is alone, I can like hammer wall him.
I can stay with Pegon as well.
Let's get some mid wave, I think.
I'm really close to Fire Blink as well. Can make our game go crazy. Off this wave, I have Fire Blink.
Wait, I'm done slouching. It's actually over.
I'm backing as well. I'm gonna upgrade my relics.
I have to back not on a wave. There's a ward right here. I should be okay. I can't get any wards, but I got Fire Blink.
I have a lot of wards.
They cannot do it, actually, pretty sure.
They actually do it really quick, kind of, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they damn.
Our fight's really good because Frey's gonna.
In like 2 Freya.
The comms are good, and I think you can really sense the tension coming from both sides. See, Ven really speaks up, doesn't like that corridor. They have to find the perfect fight.
Yeah, and I love that Ven was calling out where Haddix was consistently. He's still in that same position. Haddix wants to wrap around to the back line. Ven was making sure everyone knew exactly where Lancelot was. Could have been a disastrous play, but now it's on the Fonzo fam to step forward. They're looking for aggressive plays, and once again, fineokay loses that bubble. hard to try and use your objective play when Venenu could blink it at any moment and get some good damage onto Aquarius.
Engaged, looking like it's close, but now it's the Fonzo fam with positioning. Let's jump into a listen-in with the Fonzo fam, see how the subjective play goes.
Yeah, she's really baiting me for Thor.
They're kind of hovering.
Terra's coming mid.
Thor hammer. We could look for something now.
Terra dashes. That's my heal. This goes mid.
Oh, I was
They were just trying to hide and
Okay,
fucking
I'll
hordes
flick
will pass them and get in there.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we do this Terra. Maybe we do this Terra.
Wuta.
Yeah, I can stun her. I can
knock her up too.
I'm behind them deep. I'm behind them.
Terra's low, guys.
Thor hammer.
Yeah. We ult in.
Yeah,
I'm gonna chase. I'm chasing in. Careful, maybe don't take that.
I'm not taking it.
Okay.
I can go in here.
Yeah,
Let's still go.
Oh, this is good. I onked that.
I'm fucking stupid.
Throw 1
Thor's
HP.
ulting.
Oh, Terra has time.
I did beads.
Oh, damn. Oh, that'd be good. I forgot that bitch has timeline.
And lucky.
All right, get me the fuck out of here.
Famous last words. This is good. This is good. Haddix ulted and beads and just goes, I'm stupid. Gets immediately pulled back in. They go all in for BennyQ, who had alternate timeline. That was a great listen-in, Frog. I'm glad we got to hear the last moments of Fonzo fam as they make the worst mistake of their lives.
It's only Aquarius left to defend. He'll burn the Aegis early on.
No health bars, though.
Health bars are low. They've got to be careful here. No silly mistakes. Aquarius lives on the line. Titan getting low, but everybody low on the side of BennyQ. Pegon in with the ultimate. They're going to push us to game number 3.
I mean, the ease of engage was definitely a big issue there. It was not easy. Ben,
I'm staying support. It's mine.
Ben went crazy on the Ares, man.
I was cooking.
Oh my goodness, what a fantastic end to that game. I think the listen-ins provide a ton of insight into just like how the mental's going, because you can quickly see, I mean, we could have casted it and I think you could have seen it, how quickly what feels like a good engage turns into something that is like you said, the worst thing they've ever seen.
I mean, I think we've all been there, where you think an engage is good, Haddix uses the beats for cooldown, then immediately realizes he's getting pulled back in by Ares. Again, they went so hard for BennyQ, who had alternate timeline. It was the big brain strats. I mean, it was the true bait, and it ends up not working out. Now, we get to go to a game 3.
Yeah, and it's even more exciting. We push to game 3. We still have this format, and none of those gods that we just saw are going to be able to get played here in game number 3. In addition to the first game god, still no Haddix on Susano.
Yep.
So I think BennyQ's still feeling pretty good about that. But yeah, I think there's a lot that both of these teams want to take back to the drawing board. We'll throw it to a quick break and come back on the other side with game number 3.
The stars in the night. Every superpower that is yours will be mine. I'll be that it girl, a pouting mouth, crossing the line. You seem like you're a ruler on TikTok when you rock. How can you seem like I wanna sing the melodies where my heart do the same, I'm a sinner. I do the same, I'm a sinner. I wanna live your life.
Game number 3 on the horizon here, folks. Our first of the day, and it could not come at a better time. You still got Frog, you still got Trelly, you still got soul laners going up against mid laners. And after the dominant game we saw in game number 1 from the Fonzo fam, BennyQ adapted well, took it to him in game number 2, and on an interesting last fight, they managed to push us to a game 3.
Yep, I mean, BennyQ doing what he does best. He was baiting for the team. You could tell the Fonzo fam thought they had a free pick. Turns out alternate timeline comes through, and then everyone groups in the jungle for Pegon to go massive in the backline. And it just did seem like, again, Fonzo fam was in the driver's seat for the majority of the game, but engage became a problem. And because of that, BennyQ, who had Ven, who was going crazy on the Ares, was going in, hitting massive chains, using the horrific emblem, and then forcing things to make his team have such an easier time finding that engage afterwards. It just makes a job like Pegon so much easier. When relics and ultimates and escapes are all gone, you can walk in and just make flashy plays.
Yeah, and it does not hurt that you get some of these crazy individual plays from both sides. I think you saw Pegon a couple of different times have, you know, he stops that Gold Fury, stops what could have been not necessarily game-winning, but pushing towards the end big plays from the enemy team. But you see it here at the end. They group up, they grab Aquarius, they push down on that defense, right? And then these ults coming through from Pegon, it always felt like he found the right time in these team fights to take down the enemy, to use that ultimate, right? And a triple kill in that last fight could not have showed that better, right? Pele has been banned out all set, I think for a good reason. This time he 10th picks Thor. Now, though, all those gods are off the table. I think Pele still probably will be banned because I don't know that I want to let Pegon have that, but going to have to go to a new selection.
Yeah, 30 gods will be taken away, 20 from the previous games, and then, of course, the 10 that will be banned. Throw 35 in the mix when we're talking about the gods that the other team are going to pick. Because of that, god pool start to come into question.
Yeah.
It did seem like we've been talking about Chernobog in the mid lane, right? Zhong, a tankier style of mage. Hades, a tankier style of mage. Now both those are off the table. What does Chernobog go to next? That's the question. If they will stay in the same roles. Remember, there was a bit of a lane swap up there. Ven took support. We heard in his comms he will be staying support. He felt like he was contributing so much to the team, and I tend to agree. I think the Ares was a dynamite pick for him. But can you have that same impact on a different support god? Because you're going to have to switch up your god pool there as well. Should be interesting stuff.
Well, picks and bans here for game number 3, and we'll see how these teams adapt. You still have that lovely graphic down there at the bottom of your screen. You can see all 20 gods eliminated from play right off the bat. And I think I'm immediately in the mindset that we've been talking about Chernobog, right? You're right. You go to Zhong, you go to Hades. I'm thinking of other soul lane mages. You go to Chang'e, maybe. You go to something a little bit tankier. It feels like if they're going to have to dive deep into the god pool for one of these players, they might want to try prioritizing that pick.
Yep, could be something that Fonzo fam is looking towards. Another pick that I haven't seen at all so far is the Haddix Kuang, a pick that he plays a ton on stream and has not been, you know, brought out in the jungle just yet. Could be something Fonzo fam tries to prioritize early or keep it in the back pocket for something later on. Once again, the Thanatos is not going to be making its way through. That's a consistent ban so far this set. You were talking about the Pele. Would not be surprised if that followed suit here as well, and it does. Fonzo fam are not going to be letting that pick go through. Now, with all these picks already taken away, I think Set still does come to fruition here. That's something you don't want to let Duo Q grab right away. And the Fonzo fam have the ability to take away that pick and not let it go over to mid lane or over to solo or even over to jungle. It is so flexible, this Set, that can be played just about any role besides support. And because of that, I think the Fonzo fam are thinking long and hard about this one. Do they want to take away the Set, or do they think something else is more pressing?
Well, some gods taken away in the second ban phase last time will get moved up here. Ravana has been banned in the second phase both games, now taken away this time in the first phase. I think that's the first Hebo ban that we've seen. I don't think he's been seen throughout the rest of the set. I was going to bring him up as like he's been a god that other players and other teams have been going towards this weekend. Haven't seen him yet this set, and we will continue not to see him this set. But now the field is, I was going to say wide open. It is not as wide open, but one of those bans that we saw in game number 2 that gets through here in game number 3 is this Sun Wukong. I think Duo-Q are smart to take it away.
They certainly are. Being away means that the Wukong gets to play. Everyone says that. It's a well-known saying.
Okay.
And in this case, what, you have never heard that before?
I went with it.
Okay. I wasn't. Well, you said okay, like, you know, like half-heartedly, like you didn't believe me.
I think you read into it a little bit.
Okay, all right. That's my bad. I was defensive because I didn't know if my metaphor would stick. But in this case, I think the Wukong is going to have a good time, whether that goes over to solo. But Marty is going to be coming through here. That was taken away as well, but the set goes overlooked. So something the Fonzo fam either A, didn't want to grab this early on, or B, did not value more than the Ratatoskr, that global presence, and the Marty. There's plenty of burst and chase down potential with this god. There's a reason He has been banned away so much.
Even in Game 3, you still see some of these power picks coming to the forefront. Sun Wukong, we've seen banned away before. Martichoras has been banned away in the first 2 games of this set, so admittedly a little bit surprising that the bans switch up so much that we see those two. Ratatoskr hasn't been looked at quite yet, but this gives Fonzo fam what they were lacking in game number 2. They didn't really have an answer for the global pressure that was coming through from Thor, but now that Thor's unplayable, Ratatoskr's been taken away, it's going to be hard for DuoQ to try and match that global pressure as well.
Easy.
I say that. I say that it's almost like it was coming right around the corner. Chernobog getting locked in second here, and now you've got both teams with a little bit of that global.
Yep, they said, you know what? Thanatos is banned. Thor's not available for play now. Rat taken. We got to get a global presence somehow. And they didn't want to play Apollo, so Chernobog gets to be locked in, along with the Ymir. So good coverage around these walls. It's a pick that I think, yeah, probably Ven piloting it. Annoying for Rat, annoying for Marty. Forcing an ultimate just because of the wall could be disastrous here. And if Ven's on point with those walls like he was on point with the chains, same style of play can be very annoying to try and deal with. With that being said, though, it does seem like I think that if the Rat, it's got the ability to go solo or jungle. Now that we see the Kwang, that gets answered for me. I was going to say, the Kwang is still something that I expected to see from Haddix, and it comes through. I hate to repeat myself, but the Kwang also could be played in solo or jungle. But because it's Haddix in particular, I think he'll probably take that one.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the draft rounds out, how they end up placing these two pseudo-assassins. One actually is an assassin, the other one is a mage. But I mean, on this Ymir pick, I think I'm a huge fan of it, but it comes with a lot of risk for me. It is a very similar play style to Ares. You want to get aggressive, but it suffers a lot more from being behind. And with the volatility we've seen in the duo lane in both of these first 2 games, it almost seems a little bit risky to me.
Yeah, I think that if you blink in as Ares and then you get the ult off and then you die, you still get some pretty good value. Whereas if you're Ymir, you blink in, you get a freeze, maybe you find a relic or something, but you still could just die. You could just get turned on in that aspect. So you have to watch your positioning on this Ymir, and I'm thinking that will be the play here for DuoQ to only go in when you have a guaranteed fight you're trying to take, similar to Chernobog, right? You're only ulting into the backline unless you know you're either getting a kill or there's no way you can get out. Interesting hover here. Going to be a possible Aphrodite, a pick that definitely was flavor of the month for a while, but has fallen out of the wayside for quite some time. If your name is not Awesome Jake, you're probably not looking towards this god. Maybe that's why it's just a hover and not a snap block. Fonzo fam are still trying to figure out where they want this draft to go.
Well, more potential for a previously seen solo lane mage, right? I mean, once upon a time, not with this recent version of Aphrodite. We haven't seen it in the solo lane at all, but this could be something that falls into Kana's god pool, especially since they banned out some other viable picks. Chang'e and Nuwa taken off the board as well. That Aphrodite does ultimately get locked in. Still unclear at the moment whether or not it's going mid or support, though.
Yeah, I would assume. You might have just targeted it yourself. Kana wants to play a tankier style of mage. The Zhong and the Haddix are no longer available, so has to look towards the Afro. Stay linked to the Rad or stay linked to the Kwang. We've got some pretty decent dive. Agni, a great applicator of the Divine Ruin, you know, that anti-heal that is going to need to be present, especially when Kwang and Aphrodite are around, possibly even Marty with the Soul Eater build. A lot of healing.
Whoa.
And some good AoE.
Whoa.
But now we've got something interesting. So I'm still assuming Ymir goes over towards support, and we've seen Chernobog solo in the past, so does that mean that Wukong goes into the jungle, or are you taking one of these hunters into the jungle?
Are you going to put your name on the line and venture out a guess, or is it too like,
I mean, what
to the
out of
win?
all of these gods, they don't scream Pegon to me, except no, yeah, they don't scream Pegon to me. I know that Snoopy loves the Ho Yi, so maybe we just, you know, lock that one in. But if that's the case, are you really just sending BennyQ to Chernobog ADC? Yeah, maybe BennyQ takes the Chernobog solo and Pegon wants the Sun Wukong jungle. Yeah, all right.
I would like it to be Cherno jungle. That's my personal.
So
preference.
you want
I think that's
you
the
like
most fun.
bad things, is what you're saying?
In this particular case, if that's how we're defining it, then yeah, I think I might like the worst pick. I think it's more fun. You give both the junglers the global presence, right? So
That's fair.
You get to match one-on-one. On the other side, though, Fonzo fam, they grabbed their last pick, Bellona. I think that more or less seals in the Aphrodite going towards that mid lane, but man, their comp's kind of weird too, man. Like, who is your is it Bellona support?
Yep. Kuang jungle, Rat solo, Marty ADC, Bellona support, Afro mid. Done. Easy.
Not Bellona mid.
No.
And Afro support.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess Kana does like Bellona, huh? Well, I was pretty set in my ways until you said that, so.
Either way, like I think we see the tendencies here. We go to game 3, we dive a little bit deeper into these god pools. Some of these players are forced onto gods that they enjoy and maybe roles that they don't necessarily belong in or are seen in very often. We'll have to wait until we get into the game to see where those players are going to be going. But I mean, I think just in turn, both of these games, right? Well, that's not true. Game 1 did not really go to team fights, right? Like Fonzo fam just kind of rolled over. I don't know if they can do that this time with the Aphrodite that is inherently slower, but in game number 2, it came down very clearly to team fights. Very clearly, 35 minutes, who's going to win 5v5. Looking at that, regardless of roles, once these guys group up, who are you favoring?
I mean, look at Fonzo fam's comp throughout, and do they have an easy go button, that easy engage? Sure, Rattle can catch people that are off guard, and Bellona can Eagles rally in to set up fights, but besides that, they don't have as easy of a time starting a fight, whereas one good Ymir wall could be the deciding factor. You still have the Chernobog ult that can just rotate on someone instantly and make it a 1v2 or a 2v3 or a 4v5, that sort of thing. So I think Duo Q, their comp, is just easier to execute on, and if they're both getting late game and it's the ease of aggression, it's got to go to Duo Q.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely saw the difficulty of execution take into account there at the very last fight, right? I mean, it was Fonzo fam who felt like they had a good engage. They maybe pressed their buttons a little bit wrong, and then they end up off the mark. They used the beats a little bit early.
Yep.
We could go back through that fight 100 times. I think, though, what the fans want to see is the game number 3 right around the corner here. We'll see who advances on to the semi-finals here. Will it be the mid laners? Will it be the solo laners? Fonzo fam and Duo Q both fighting for their lives. It's still Frog, it's still Trelly bringing you this game number 3. Still Doug on the spectator in the background as well.
Unlucky. I was close.
You were indeed close. But I got what I wanted. I got the Pegon jungle, right? The Chernobog jungle. You matched the global pressure.
I wasn't even looking at that. I'm looking at the fact that Variety took Bellona ADC. You're right. You get what you wanted. Pegon does get the jungle the Chernobog.
We didn't even consider Bellona ADC.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I was like, okay, so Kana likes Bellona. fineokay might take the Afro, but I didn't think about what that would leave Variety with. I did just assume that by process of elimination he would have taken the Marty. But hey, Kana shows he doesn't have to just play those solo lane, those magical characters in this case. He can also take the Marty over towards that mid lane, so should be a new look from him. Exciting stuff. And Haddix does get the full damage Kuang jungle, which I've been excited to find out if he's able to play, you know, in a game like this, because I'm telling you, he does it in ranked a lot, but this is a completely different ball game.
All right, so I'm going to put you on the spot here. I think you got a couple different avenues that we could talk about, right? So you pick one for me, right? What does a Chernobog jungle bring to the table? How is this Marty mid different than the tanky mids before? Or what in the world kind of pressure is this duo lane going to have for the Fonzo fam?
All right, I'll go with the duo lane because that I think is a little bit easier. Bellona and Afro can be a nasty 2v2. I mean, you're essentially just playing the bully. You have infinite heals as long as fineokay is there and kiss to you. And Pegon takes a lot. Haddix doesn't have the cooldowns. Finally gets it, but it's not enough damage. And the flame dash barely misses there. Haddix could have been ticked down. I just like it's essentially a bully lane, right? You're trying to go in consistently. You're trying to force Snoopy's beads and dive him under tower. And I assume fineokay is going to babysit Variety essentially the whole entire of the early game.
And with the dual lane pressure that we've seen in game 1 and 2 without a solo lane warrior being over here, if that's any indication, I would expect there to be some sparks flying here early on from Varieties. He wants to get involved on this early game warrior, but that may put Venenu, we talked about the risk of this pick. If you get put behind on the Ymir, it could be difficult to play into these fights a little bit later on, and Haddix is looking to make that rotation early. The horrific, the slow, and no hesitation whatsoever. The body blocks are beautiful as well. Executed to perfection, and the Fonzo fam grabbed first blood.
Yeah, I mean, Ven was in a bad spot. He popped meditation, tried to hit the freeze, but it's not easy when there's melee characters that can just walk around your cones and make sure there's no way that connects. And Haddix, as you said, body blocks Ven to all hell and just make sure that he falls down for first blood. This case gave him the first blood to Variety, though, so now the Bellona will be a little bit more scary. BennyQ doesn't have the cudgel, can't finish the kill onto Aquarius. Wouldn't have been able to anyways, but still, getting the better end of the early game in solo, yeah, I'm thinking Wukong is going to have an easier time than Rat.
Yeah, definitely bringing a little bit more of that pressure, and that's maybe something DuoQ has to consider here for this game number 3. They did well in game number 2 to react, and I think play over towards that duo side. They were like, we got crushed there in game number 1, we have to respond. This time there's a Bellona, and you already fell for first blood. Maybe Pegon switches it up and tries to give a little bit more focus towards the right-hand side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at duo lane, Snoopy's not going to provide too much damage to help you out on a gank. The Haddix doesn't really come online like that until ultimate comes through. Level 3, stuck underneath tower. I tend to agree. Right side of the map could be better. The issue, though, is that Aqua's got the get out of jail free card with Cosmos now. Even if you fly in, you're just going to be telegraphing the gank. I mean, BennyQ does have a Blink Tiger stun, I suppose, but how much follow-up does Chernobog really provide? Without Transcendence online, without late game damage, not too much. It does seem like DuoQ really is posturing towards 30 minutes plus, while Fonzo fam came out swinging with this duo lane that just wants to fight pretty much out of the gate. Fonzo fam doesn't want to let this go late.
Yeah, I mean, we typically don't really think of Kuang as an early game jungler. Like he doesn't necessarily have the CC, have a bunch of the regular tools that you would think of. Hold that thought, though. Good freeze there from Venenu, and the ultimate gets forced from Pegon as well to join the 3v2, and it won't result in any kills, but it does force Haddix away. I think they were looking to find a 3v2 there, and the ultimate from Pegon slows that down.
Certainly does. Unfortunate, if Eagles Rally connects, you're probably grabbing the beads off of Snoopy, and then guess what? Haddix feels confident blinking underneath that tower because he gets a free exit with his execute. No beads, no force. Snoopy gets to live to see another day. Unfortunate that Variety and Final couldn't find the synergy there, but at the very least, Snoopy's going to get some free farm for the time being, and that'll be the end of the aggression. Because Aquarius does go for this Ratatoskr solo, the global presence from solo lane is not going to be that big of an issue on the left side of the map, unless, of course, he teleports in. I'm guessing that DuoQ doesn't have to be constantly looking towards the skies in the early game at the very least, but eventually Aqua can make those impactful rotations, try and pull some extra relics and make Ven's life just a little bit more difficult. If he's even a little bit too far forward, he's out of position, right? The Ymir, like we already said, you can collapse on so easily, especially if you're pushing up too far and there's a rat nearby. I appreciate Doug skipping off that immediately because he was going crazy with the spam.
Whew, BennyQ under some pressure here. Aqua has hit that power spike with that thick bark acorn a little bit early on here. And I was going to mention, after you talked about the aggression from Aquarius, he upgraded that teleport really early in game number 2 there. He had the fully tier 3 teleport with the reduced cooldown before Beacon even spawned. But now, Hawkk has made his way over to the solo lane. BennyQ chasing down Aqua. One more auto would have done it. But through the skies, he gets away, and Pegon is there to chase him down. He's got to hit the autos and the abilities, and saves the ultimate perfectly. Holds on to it until he lands, and Aquarius falls the first kill onto DuoQ.
Yeah, Pegon holds that perfectly, knows he can chase down because Aqua already used all of his movement. Now Haddix is stuck trying to pick up the pieces of solo lane. Maybe get some decent damage, but look how much gets returned to him. Haddix does not want to stay around and fight for this cooldown buff. And that one will go the way of duo Q as well. Even with a double ADC composition like this, even with the duo lane falling down, it is still duo Q. Finding presence. Did I say duo Q or duo lane? It's so annoying having the double duo that I have to try and figure out.
Dude, I was listening yesterday to the cast for Unstable Vortex while
Hercules was playing Janus. Yep.
I was like, how are they mixing these up, dude?
It's not fun.
Yeah, it is. But you know, I like the name, right? Duo Q, and it's spelled.
Oh no, the name's great.
Yeah, the name's definitely on point. So, gotta give him some credit there. Something I wanted to talk about, right? We sort of got pulled away from. I don't consider Kuang an early game jungler. I don't know what I consider Chernobog. Like, I guess I consider Chernobog a late game jungler because you just get to the team fights, but like, I can't even visualize how I want Chernobog to gank a lane.
I mean, if it's anything like the Apollo jungle that we used to see back in the day, it's a lot of scanning the map, right? You're clearing, you're stacking your items, and then you look and say, hey, did Variety just ult in? Did Aquarius just use his ult defensively? Are escapes down? And if so, I am immediately teleporting with my ult. I am getting right next to the person that used that escape and trying to find a kill. That's how Pegon's played it so far, and I think that's correct. Hawkk and Pegon looking here. The dash is down, though. Cxnnahh and Haddix recognize that Pegon wouldn't dash defensively unless someone was nearby, and they decide not to fight. And Cxnnahh takes a lot of damage, 3 bombs, but holds on to the ultimate. Death from above was not used. Cxnnahh, cool as a cucumber under pressure.
Whew. I wish I was looking at the player camp during that, man. I wonder if he even flinched. That's definitely good discipline to hold on to the ultimate there, as we get an ultimate down in duo lane as well. Double freeze there from Venenu. A lot of emo spam from Venenu on this Ymir. He's feeling good.
Doug's got our back. He switches off the second we hear even one. Yep.
Every time he switches off, and I think that's the right play. We won't be able to avoid it late game, though, in the team fights. But, I mean, it seems like, based on the pacing here, both teams pretty satisfied to wait until that point. This is the least amount of kills we've had in the 8 minutes. But as I say that, we get 2 different invades. The blue buff invade attempt and BennyQ on the tower dive here. Haddix staying in Viz and dodges out the ultimate as well. So much damage gets avoided on the other side. The purple buff invade came through as well. So some aggression, but still no more kills on the board.
Yeah, Haddix was still in combat there, could not use his blink, so had to just go in for the water illusion and perfectly jukes out all of Pegon's abilities. And of course BennyQ to make sure that he lives to see another day. Could have been close. That's some scary stuff, but just excellent positioning throughout while he was stealthed. 1 bit of damage would have been the end of Haddix's life. And now, still, as you said, it seems like Duo Q has been providing all the engage, all the aggression so far. I've been loving the switch up for Hawkk. I didn't love the Discordia, but this Agni, he's been in the right place at the right time. Big damage numbers as well. Seems like he feels much more confident on a pick like this to make those impactful rotations.
Yeah, and that early pen online, right? I mean, not going at a percent, just wants to get aggressive a little bit earlier on. And maybe looking at some other builds, right? We see these interesting roles come out. Maybe something that would test the brain a little bit is this Bellona ADC build. Do you think you build traditional soul laner, you just want to be a little bit aggressive, or is it more towards ADC type?
And at this point, it seems like Variety is building to 1v1 Snoopy. He hasn't really gotten the opportunity to do so yet. He's got Horrific Emblem, he's got Phalanx, he should be able to tank up a lot of damage, but he also doesn't dish out that much damage because the engage is not easy. I mean, Snoopy has a frame-perfect dash where he can just jump in the air, he can jump over a stun, he can jump over a bludgeon, he can jump over just about anything that fineokay or Variety provide, and because of that, he's just relatively safe over here. Luckily, Ben has been coming over to try and peel, and I am amazed that his V, his E, and his T keys haven't fallen off yet.
He just keeps going with it. Meanwhile, action on the right-hand side. BennyQ under some pressure, but Pegon's here to join him. And Haddix has no water illusion. BennyQ is in on the somersault cloud, grabs the second kill for Duo Q, and Haddix falls for the first time.
I mean, it's just not easy to find a gank there, even with blink and no beads. BennyQ always has somersault cloud. Aquarius doesn't have the anti-heal to try and poke him down, so Haddix, unfortunately, just commits a little bit too much without having that ultimate down and ends up falling, giving that kill over towards Pegon and BennyQ, who have the 2 kills for the squad at the moment. The Duo Q sitting strong for now. Still, though, farm in favor of the Fonzo fam. Not by much, but enough to say that BennyQ may be looking to group up towards this beacon fight. They should have their ults back up, or at least BennyQ's back up for a fight like that. I assume they're the ones who have the aggressive positioning, considering that fineokay and Variety are just going in over in duo again.
In on the Eagles rally, and Haddix is back in the action. Wastes no time coming back from base and looking at Ven, and into execute range he falls to support down for BennyQ, and they're still on the chase. Snoopy, no dash available, still continue the chase down. It comes up off cooldown at the perfect time, though. Haddix is not miffed off, though. He grabs the double kill, diving a tier 2 tower. A look at Hawkk on the rotation, though, has to be perfect with the range of those abilities and just is not in time. Basically a free 2 for 0, and it's right as the objective spawns.
Well, Aquarius has ult, BennyQ doesn't. You'd think he'd want to chase that down for a kill opportunity, but was worried about how much damage BennyQ could provide and did not think he could outplay the blink, so does not go in for it. Shocked, but I'm guessing Aqua is playing the safe game here. Again, that beacon did spawn in. You don't want to use your ult beforehand because Aqua did upgrade that teleport. He can get here way before BennyQ if he wants.
Looks like there may be some pressure incoming here,
there he is.
though. Let's jump into a listen-in with BennyQ to see how they defend this.
I mean, Al has no ult. Afro no ult as well, but
I'm flying there.
No.
Actually,
okay.
One
of us starting to walk back left, I'm going to be left.
So. Right?
That's right.
Yeah, I'm getting away from him. I might ult to go gold. I can fly there.
He's around this edge. Yeah. Oh, what a wall.
Pyro's up soon as well.
Rat's coming back right.
Yep. I think I just hit him here.
They're all coming left side, I think.
Okay, shield's up. So they're probably just going for that.
I have my ult. Let me know if you need it. I'm okay. I'm just.
I think a lot of people here. Marty and Effort. I think they're cutting you off this way. Wait, come to me. Come to me. This side. This side.
Should I ult?
I have no med for 45.
I have blink for after. I'm coming to you.
Yeah, I saw.
That's Al one.
I might get a big root here. Rats in the air. Rats in the air.
Bellona left.
Nice
Bellona left.
I'm okay. I have beats
think
still.
you're okay.
I have beats
Can we
still.
have return? Can we hit?
Yeah, wait. Rat.
I'm farming them. I'm farming them here.
I'm coming to you mid.
Wait, Marty after his ult maybe.
Root Afro.
I'm coming
yeah,
to you
I'm
guys.
with you still.
I'm coming.
I'm ulting. Slow. Can we root Marty? Oh, I missed.
That's
That's
Afro.
10.
I have nothing. I have nothing.
No.
That's beats
I'm-
and Aegis, I think.
I'm
We
here.
can go pyro. We can go pyro.
Do you want to look for anything? Or no?
Let's go pyro. Let's go pyro.
Okay.
They're stayed by the way.
I'm here.
Yeah, look. This guy no beats.
Oh,
I
I
have
missed
no
it.
cleanse. Can we do pyro?
We can,
Bellona
we
could
can
be
still do
rotating.
pyro, I think.
Yeah.
Either Bellona's on purple or she's
Yeah,
rotating.
just try to
I'm
get
not sure
pyro. We could bomb it.
I can zone.
So quick. Can't
Yeah, just
spawn in.
burst it. I'm gonna maybe fly.
Yeah, I'll just hit.
They might go gold.
They're going gold.
Yeah, I'm flying to gold.
Yeah,
And
careful left.
I-
They're gonna play on you. They're gonna play
I
on
have
you.
beats
I'm
and
gonna
ult for
loop.
this.
I'm gonna loop all the way
Maybe
around.
maybe
Oh,
just
I
farm
see.
right, Pegon.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah, farm
I'm
right.
on your ult.
Yeah,
I'm
50.
covering this gold play.
50 for my ult as well. I don't know how defensible this is.
I'll just try to steal it. I have ult and my
Okay.
beats.
Yeah, I mean we're farming
Al's
right.
here,
So
Marty's here. It's 60, 50.
35.
I can
maybe we can
go.
try and bomb this, Ven.
Come in. They're still on it. They're still
They
on
don't
it.
have great
I have a
security,
max
really.
wall, by the way. If I get a wall on someone.
20.
I netted you.
Nice.
I got a fat wall on them. They're stuck. The rat.
It's just rat.
Freeze.
That's their horrific.
This is probably
control.
bad.
All the
This is
damage
bad,
I
this is
got.
bad.
I don't
This
do
is bad.
63 damage.
We got a lot of farming right. We got.
Yeah.
No problem. No problem.
I'm literally 3 rolls up. We're in a good spot.
Yo, this shot is so squishy by the way. I don't know how he's built, but.
Macro play there, I think, from BennyQ. You hear him in the comms, constant communication. I think especially from Ben and very vocal as well from Hawkk, who
was just lying, by the way. If you're curious, there are 0 Aegises on the Fonzo fam. My man said beads Aegis down. No one even has Aegis, so I don't know what he was looking towards, but it was an Afro ult, so hey, maybe that's what he was talking about. Either way, I did like the play. BennyQ said, hey, I've got some safety. I can walk up. I can go for the steal. They could not fight though, even with the wall. I mean, Ven maxed it out, had decent control, but it's a Ratatoskr who was simply too tanky for the time being. I did like how much damage Pegon's able to dish out now. He has Failnut, he's got Executioner. Now it's time for the BennyQ to find an opportunity to actually go in for a true 5v5, which they didn't really have there, right? That was more so just Fonzo fam grouping up a little bit earlier. They had presence on the left side of the map, thanks to Aqua, who has been on point with the teleports.
BennyQ under some pressure once again. Pegon joins him on the right-hand side. Good beads, well timed. Gets the ultimate out of Haddix, and he will fall once again. Feel like that's a little bit of deja vu from how the gank went the last time around. Meanwhile, though, Hawkk under some pressure in the mid lane. Chernobog taking down the tier 1 tower. Auto by auto, they'll grab the objective off the board. Meanwhile, the other team pushing up the right-hand side. Maybe continuing on the engage. Venenu here as well. Look for the loop around. BennyQ and Pegon duo Q coming around the backside. They'll just trade the tier 1 tower damage. Get out while Venenu takes that one. They'll take the kill on right and back off.
Yeah, but here comes the ultimate onto Hawkk. Does not find it. The dash knock-up immunity is good, but still Variety saved his forward.
Oh my, the Eagles rally hits 2, and the death from above gets so much value. BennyQ next on the chopping block, just barely gets out of there with the Ox form. And Aquarius, he's been trapped under the tower, a beautiful wall, but Hawkk taken down by Chernobog in return. Variety and Chernobog under the tower. Venenu the last to fall. A double kill for the mid laner and a 3v1. All the while, a fight continuing on the left-hand side. Nobody wants to stop the action just yet as BennyQ is returned to the mid lane as well. Snoopy looking to chase this one down. I don't know if he's got the bounce.
Jump bounce? Something? He's got to go for it. Come on.
He's got to go for it, but it's BennyQ and Pegon who are still fighting in the mid lane.
Yep, Snoopy went in for the dive. Haddix didn't get hit. Now BennyQ goes in for the Ox form, but Chernobog doesn't have the damage to try and blow him up. Will not find it all the while. Unfortunate. Haddix gets to go home. I was going to say, I mean, we didn't even get a moment to touch on how Pegon's been playing this pick. The Chernobog has been a counter gank tool. He waits for Haddix to go in. He flies to him. He kills him. It's happened twice now. BennyQ got credit for one of those kills, but still, a 3-level deficit. Haddix just wants farm at this point. He's tired of going in for fights. He goes over to left lane, ends up getting the relics off of Snoopy. Yeah, pulls an Aegis, but still, sitting at level 14, this Kuang's looking a little bit worse for wear.
Aphrodite ult forced here. Duo Q have the positioning for now. Let's jump into a listen with the Fonzo fam, though. They're trying to fight back.
I've healed up. I can fight now, but
okay.
It might be too late.
I'm on my way. Sprint is up.
I can't really get in there.
I can walk in.
I don't have ult now, though. Wow. No shell as well for 16.
Right. This is awkward.
That's actually stunned down. I can ult him.
After, yeah. I'm running. Who should I link?
You, man. Can we go on you, yeah?
Yeah, just kill him. Does
he have ult?
I'm on Haddix. His ult.
They're gonna go on me. I need help.
Might be dead. He's dead.
No, I need to run.
Sprint is out. Sprint is out. Might be dead.
We're actually getting outranged, dude.
Dead. Damn.
It's okay, guys. We play a party game, and we're actually only 2k gold down.
Fantastic there from Haddix, and I'm not sure that I disagree with him. They take the fight. They try to find the engage. My favorite part was there was no words on that engage.
No.
Variety just Eagles rallied in. Nobody said anything. Kana goes into the ultimate, and then they back off. It gets counter engage. Unfortunate loss. Haddix is feeling good though.
I would argue that you're cursing them. That's what it is. It's the
Whenever I throw it to a
voice
listen
in curse. Yes. Whoever we listen in on loses the fight. So next time, whenever it looks like Duo Q is going to win handedly, we're going to have to go in and try and spectate that so you can try and put the bad energy back in their favor. However, it just didn't seem like a good game plan, right? I mean, Variety ults in, let's kill Ymir. Ben just immediately says, you can't execute me like this, and Haddix goes, oh yeah, I'm level 14 and have 2.5 items at this point. There's no way I can get close enough to find that execution.
5 levels down.
Yeah, Pegon hit 20, and Haddix is like, I have 3 items. So that's fun. That looks like a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I think we didn't even like give enough credit to how Pegon has been playing this pick, because you're right, his only ganks have been counter ganks. He literally has been hyper farming, and then he presses for when he sees Haddix walk over a ward.
Yep.
Which is definitely not the traditional way to play the jungle role, but man, it seems to be working here for DuoQ. Not a huge gold lead, right? Only 3 or 4K here at 20 minutes, so it's not anything to necessarily write home about, but that XP lead, that's where it's coming through. You see that on the jungler, you see that over in the dual lane as well. Snoopy hasn't really been in any of these fights, so you're missing out on that Hui ult damage as well. I think we're getting around that point where we might start talking about the fight that ended game number 2. This Fire Giant may start to be looked at.
That's what I'm talking about, though. Double ADC. You got Ben for ease of engage. And the Fonzo fam throw a Hail Mary. Does BennyQ call this out for his team? I think he sniffs something out. He steps forward, and Pegon flies in to say, hey, yeah, they are on Fire Giant, guys. We got to go.
Aquarius into the air and Kana into the air as well. They're looking for the re-engage off the objective, and Pegon gets swallowed alive into the air. Haddix grabs the first kill and may look for the re-engage. BennyQ low below him, but into the somersault cloud as the rest of DuoQ looking to rejoin this fight. On the rotation, it's now a 5v4. They're not looking for the objective. They're looking for the fight after the fact. And BennyQ has separated himself from the team. Snow has the dual lane, though, and Venenu is getting caught out. He's forced into the ultimate, but the Hui ultimate is there at the same time. How does nobody fall on the Ymir ultimate? Hawkk comes in at the end of the fight and takes down the remaining member. Kana falls, so it's ultimately just a 1-for-1. But the health bars, they're so low. This is crazy.
It's the taunt diff. That's what it is. Ben's been spamming, and he's making sure everyone chooses him as their first target. The damage from the Fonzo fam is not enough to kill the Ymir constantly. No one was able to follow up there. Kana was close, but not enough. And now DuoQ is set up towards the Fire Giant. Hawkk and Snoopy waiting at the blue buff. Once Ven shows up, they'll have at least 18 seconds with a 5v4 advantage. Are they going to go in for the pull? It seems like it.
Let's jump into a listen-in with DuoQ. They've got to look at this Fire Giant.
Because I don't have relics now.
I have everything.
I don't have relics. I don't see anyone in front of us to the
Rat's
left.
here.
Rat's here. Can we look
They're
right? I'm Bellona. I'm with
I walled them off, walled them off.
Can you break wall? Can you break wall?
Yeah.
I'm on L.
Ow.
I'm coming. I'm with you. I got triple freeze.
I'm hitting Bellona.
I'm farming them. Bellona one.
Hey, it was on me.
I don't have anything.
Ow. Rat's gonna land on me. I really do.
I don't have anything here. I have a freeze in 2.
In the air. I might be done.
I have a freeze. Freeze. Fat freeze.
Oh my god, big.
Help Snoopy. Right, no dash.
I didn't get the wall. I got him.
Nice.
I have a freeze in 8. Freeze in 8.
Marty's gonna be back.
We're fine. Just wait for Marty.
Afro first.
Yeah.
It's just you two. I can't help.
I have a wall in 2. Yeah, wall in 2. 1. Well done. I can just freeze this Marty. I can't. I'm getting crit. I'm a goner here. That's his beats. I juked it, onked him.
Wait, just leave. Just leave.
Yeah, leave.
That's his beats. Marty no beats now. Next fight. Marty no beats next fight. Can he get to me?
No.
Oh.
I mega trolled that fight.
It's all good.
Yeah, it is.
I might just for next fight.
Wait, can they do that?
What a fight there. DuoQ looked off. They looked a little bit shaky to start things off, but they bounced back a little bit.
We can't blame Hawkk. It's not his fault. It's Frog's fault. He's the one who listened in.
I feel like they won that fight.
I mean, they would have. I don't understand how Kana didn't just finish Ven with the ult and then go back to finish BennyQ. I guess he found the ult more valuable on the BennyQ, and he did confirm that kill. But now, I mean, it's relatively even, all things considered. Beacon is a target. Remember, Titans are going to be pushing down once this beacon comes through, and the Primal Fury is still available. Aqua, he's got no help, though. His team is going for the Oracles first. They don't find this beacon as useful. It seems like DuoQ is posturing more so towards the right side of the map as we get to see the Titans push up left. Now, we have lots of different opportunities for fights, right? You can go up towards Primal Fury, you could push in with your Titan, you could avoid both of those and go towards the Fire Giant and say, hey, we know the team is probably going to go in for that Titan push, let's go in for a sneaky Fire Giant play. It's just difficult with Pegon, right? He's going to immediately go up to the sky. He's got a mobile ward. He can tell where everyone is. That's what happened last time. Fonzo fam goes for the cheeky pull. Pegon spots it out.
Oh my goodness, caught in with the wall. Beautiful CC from Venenu. Forces the ultimate early from Kana, and they have positioning around this Fire Giant. It has to be Fonzo fam who try and fight back into this. Let's jump into a listen-in with the Fonzo fam as they look to contest this objective.
Starter now.
I still have my shell.
Yeah, that's all. Just back up. I can watch 5 from here.
Okay.
If it's a stalemate,
They're coming mid.
I could just go clear the Titan and right if nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, do you have TP up?
Yeah, I have TP.
Okay, that's good then. You can do that.
Yeah, if they don't have TP, we should abuse that.
They have no more wards as well.
He's back in. He's back in for a ward. We could look for an engage off that actually.
Yeah, I have ult in 10.
Okay, I'm getting speed.
Mid?
Just look to force the Agni dash.
I'll TP if you guys actually foot.
It's Agni stun down.
Nah, we're not gonna fight, I don't think. I'm gonna back quick. Coming out. I'm gonna keep splitting mid.
Agni's trying
If
to.
you guys just chill out and no one comes this tight,
yeah.
We can force a fight once I TP over as well.
My favorite thing is when I throw it to a listen-in and then Haddix says verbatim, we're not going to fight here.
Yeah, we're not going to do anything. Go split push, you have teleport. This is going to be a snooze fest. That's
well,
exactly
he knew
what he
I
said.
threw it. He just doesn't want to be cursed.
That's true. He somehow was able to hear you. He's far away, but...
I mean, he's pretty far away,
yeah,
but he can't take the risk.
Yeah, I understand that. But Aquarius is doing a great play here because fineokay called it out. They have no teleport. Let's send Rat left. Someone has to go stop it. Pegon is going to be the option. Unfortunately, Pegon's the best choice, right? He can always fly back if need be, and he should be able to take care of this Titan, just losing only the tier 1 tower.
Jhin, Aquarius looking for the 1v1. I don't know if he has calculated this. If Pegon gets to hit the autos, looks like he's waiting on cooldowns, though. Meanwhile, lots of pressure in the mid lane. Fonzo fam pushing down versus 4 of the duo queue towards this tier 2 tower, but Titans will get taken down. The jungler and the solo laner were pulled over there for a short period of time. Now it's just the Gold Fury and the Fire Giant remaining, and I think it's pretty clear that both these teams don't really have a ton of value placed on this Primal Fury. They're going to be grouping up around the FG.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be enhanced Fire Giant pretty soon. The longer we sit around and wait, the longer it will come through, and I think Duo Q doesn't mind. Again, they've got double ADC who do not have full build just yet. Pegon finally finishes up that Odie bow, but Snoopy still has the upgraded starter and the last item to finish up. They don't mind sitting back. They don't mind waiting for these builds to get online, whereas, sure, Variety will get a bit tankier, but Chernobog has just a Heartseeker to try and finish up. That is going to be the big difference maker here as Aqua blinks in, trying to pull a Relic or an ultimate from Pegon, but if you can't kill immediately, you're going to get your ult forced.
Ultimate gets forced from Pegon, but that forces the ultimate from Aquarius as well. I am shocked that he did not go back in there. Yeah, the Pridwin proc, I don't know, maybe losing a little bit of confidence there after starting the 1v1 himself, but this will start as well, a 4v2. Got a couple members that have backed from Duo Q, so they're not here for the Pyromancer contest. That's going to be the Fonzo fam taking down the Pyromancer. They'll now have 2 Runic Bombs in pocket to Duo Q's 1. And the grouping, once again, is around the Fire Giant. So you're saying here, whatever team I throw it to on a listen-in is going to lose this Fire Giant fight.
You have proven that so far. I'm not saying it's 100% accurate, but so far that's what it seems like.
All right, well, let's throw it to a listen-in to Duo Q to see how they play around the objective.
Can we look for Bellona?
Yeah, Walder. Yep. Frozer.
I can stun her again.
Don't overcommit, overcommit. Just play field.
They bombed. We can also just put right. I'm gonna try to get pressure on right. Like,
there's a ward here.
Right with
yeah, push right.
Our lane fight might be better than our jungle fight.
Let's posture up here. Yeah, I mean, Pegon and I can't do overwall damage, so I think it's.
That's rat dash.
Let's try to get T2.
I'm looking around.
I'm gonna play right side. Can you play left side?
Rat no dash here.
Yeah, you can look for a
Marty in mid. Okay.
I can look for stun here.
Oh, careful.
Wait, Kuang dash.
We can hit tower.
Dash the way.
I don't really like this. I'm gonna get executed if I tank too long.
We can back up.
They're gonna engage here.
I like this fight.
It's an okay
fight. Split.
Can I go? You can go whenever. I got a big win.
I got a wall.
Marty on the red.
Blown it back. Kill Blown.
On the wall. Medding you guys. Stay on my ult.
Look, Marty.
Yeah. I have a wall.
I'm looking, Marty.
Wall them. Afro.
I'm sending it.
Can we get Afro? I have a wall in 7.
They're slowed.
I'm stunning.
I slowed him again.
I have a freeze still.
Stunning? Oh, I didn't get
I have a freeze on Afro.
Can we go backfire?
Phoenix.
Too hard.
I'm gonna bet now, guys. I kind of
no.
look at them.
I root him.
I'm taking
rattle.
I don't have anything.
Fuck, my life, sorry.
I might be in trouble.
I'm dead as fuck here, I think.
I'm trying to play for life.
You guys,
just live.
You're dead.
We should just win FG there.
I think you can buy a lot of damage here.
Nope. I'm facing Aphrodite. XD.
I'm at ult when I spawn.
And the caster's curse is indeed real.
No.
You look defeated.
No,
Charlie.
I disagree entirely. That is not your fault.
Okay.
they are trolling their brains out, bro. There is no way you dive Phoenix there when Fire Giant was free. You won that fight handedly. DuoQ did not have to dive the bird, and they ended up doing so. Now it's up to BennyQ. Still does have the Somersault Cloud to try and keep the enhanced Fire Giant alive.
Oh, it's the DuoQ effect, though. He's here. He's got the Somersault Cloud. I think Fonzo fam
just
playing
wait it out.
around it correctly, though.
Just wait it out.
Still doing damage to it, though. They turn around onto him. He's got to be perfect, and he's not. They take him down. They take down the EFG as well. The overcommit from DuoQ onto the Phoenix is felt waves throughout the game. Fonzo fam up 3K gold, all leveled out at 20. And most importantly, they've got the EFG on 5.
They certainly do, yeah. I mean, Fonzo fam just had to run. Again, I'm amazed. That fight was just so won. And they decided to dive Phoenix. I mean, Snoopy went so far. Pegon even peeled to get him out, but they overcommitted so hard, especially when a rat was in play. They have an Afro. fineokay was able to heal him back up. Unfortunate oversight there. And now the Fonzo fam has enhanced Fire Giant on 5. It is so easy to try and split apart the map at this point. It's all going to be Aquarius, split pushing. Maybe Pegon comes over, but he can always ult out if need be. It can be difficult to try and defend this one. Frog, I see the Primal Fury going down. It's going to be, stalled out, but still, not an easy time to keep your birds up in this situation. Luckily for DuoQ, they've got 3 Tier 2 towers, and most of the wins I've seen them get this weekend, and this whole week, this whole tournament, has been off of their birds going down.
Yeah, I mean, one would argue that they may get stronger as they lose more structures, but Fonzo fam willing to test that theory here at this point in the game, and I'm questioning their siege ability. They only have one true ADC, and that's an ability-focused ADC. Right now, they're going to look for the split push, but this Bellona is going to have a hard time hitting birds.
Certainly so. I mean, that's the thing. DuoQ has double ADC. Imagine how quickly they can burn through the tankier targets if given the opportunity. They're not given the opportunity right now. Fonzo fam is splitting the map. That's what Enhanced Fire Giant provides. You can just let Aquarius walk through and essentially tank up a Tier 2 tower and grab it. All the while, the rest of Fonzo fam's on the left with fineokay healing them up. They can tank this as long as possible.
It's got to be Fonzo fam finding the engage here. Let's jump into a listen-in with them as they look to close out game number 3.
I'm getting on again.
Ymir is hovering mid as well.
Okay.
I need heal, boys. This Agni's poking my fucking shit out.
Poking your ass?
Yeah, he is.
Your asshole.
Agni's been right.
Okay, that's a shit down.
How's left going, Aqua?
I'm chilling.
Okay.
Chernobog's still here, though.
I'm just slowly healing up.
I do think I beat him in a 1v1.
Can you just be careful and right? Maybe we go mid here.
We're going 3.
Yeah, I can also ult mid anytime. So
Agni's on the wall, okay.
2 right.
We don't really want to commit to mid. We want to commit to left or right.
Yeah, I might just blink on Chernobog.
Ymir's coming mid now.
Agni's stun. Agni bomb.
Thank you so much, left, okay.
I'm in right. I'm in right.
Okay. You're running left.
Yeah. Chernobog's poked. That's my ult. I might need help because Chernobog's gonna ult me.
We ever go
I think
right?
you just land on me.
Yeah, so we just go right if I do that.
Agni's still here. Agni's still here. This is awkward as fuck.
Yeah, it's just Agni.
I want to
This is
back
like
in TP.
a first date.
I might just blink on him if he wants to go to the stun.
I'm gonna back and TP back.
Yeah.
That's a bad engage. We might just need to leave, dude.
Yeah, we might need a bomb and shit.
Yeah, I think we need Aqua to get a bomb.
Yeah.
Let's get Aqua a bomb.
I need a bomb.
Let's get that guy a bomb.
Get that guy a fucking bomb and get him to blow some shit up.
We're gonna need a bomb. We gotta be a little bit. We gotta be a little bit careful of the turnout here.
Fonzo fam really talking it up. That was indeed an awkward first date of a Phoenix siege.
I mean, I love the comparison because it's so accurate. They do need the runic bombs. They didn't have any way in. I mean, Aqua called before he even went forward that he thought he could win the 1v1 versus Pegon. Ends up getting poked out. It just did not go well. But now you got 2 runic bombs. Your siege does get a bit easier. At this point, you don't have enough time to push forward. You have to set up for the next Enhanced Fire Giant. Now, we can go on back to the full-on reset, right? Remember, DuoQ, they had a wand fight. They chased way too far. They could have went back and used double ADC to just blow up Fire Giant, Enhanced Fire Giant, mind you. Now, they have to go back and reset their fight. It was all off of BennyQ and Ven. Ven's been finding the engage. Can he do it again? Can he do it 10,000 gold down? That's the big difference maker here. If you're Fonzo fam, you know your siege isn't great, so you want to try and win this Fire Giant fight. You want to try and win before you get to the siege. You don't have to deal with these Phoenix pushes. You just want to win in the jungle.
And the last fight, as you said, was won by BennyQ. It was only this overextension that they had that was the punishing factor that allowed Fonzo fam the way back into this game. And so the question I think that is big in the minds of the Fonzo fam, what do they have to do differently in this fight to try and guarantee the win? We might not even get to ask. Everybody's a little bit hesitant to step up, and in fact, instead, it looked like they want to engage. Let's jump into a listen-in with BennyQ as they look around the objective. Or not. We'll stay with the mics right here. Hawkk getting a little bit of poke out, but that's my question, right? How do you try and engage this differently if you're the Fonzo fan?
I think that at this point, you still wait for Vet. He's got the call, right? If he finds a good wall, he's going to be able to start the engage. Look at this, though. You could tell Haddix is over trying to solo Primal Fury. If BennyQ gets his wind of this, they're going to try and find a pick and possibly onto Variety. They're setting up an ambush over on right. Variety still has Eagle's Rally. Going to be fine for now. Able to avoid it. But I think the second that BennyQ hears that Primal Fury go down, Pegon could take to the sky, and that's why the grouping shows up. Aquarius immediately goes over to Haddix and says, I got you, man. I'm going to make sure that Pegon doesn't just fly in.
They do take down the Fury. They're the only ones grouped up on this. Let's try this again. Let's jump into a listen-in with BennyQ. They're on the Fire Giant.
I walled them off on the left side.
They're so far. They're so far. They're so far.
I'm betting you guys for down. I'm betting you guys for down.
Just flip it.
Right behind.
Rest on the back.
Kill the fire. Kill the fire. Kill the fire. I ult it.
Oh, I'm dead. Scuffed.
I walled them off. I walled them off.
No, low.
Wait, group on me.
They're low. Can we fight it?
Group on me.
I need help. I need help. Al's killing me. I'm dead as fuck.
I'm out.
I was in the air. I was in the air. I was in the air.
Yeah, I hear it.
Rat 1 HP. Yeah, I don't really want to do that. It's just so easy for them to get in with full dive comp.
I think that's where we ulted. Or I ulted. We saw this bad.
That'd be really funny.
Nice shot. Good fight.
Oh, these mid laners are fucking ass.
Bro, I showed the end of the Ymir wall.
So simple.
Nobody
Like this
saw
game
that.
wasn't even close. This set even.
Yeah. These fuckers, they get so lucky.
Really.
Any good play they made is luck.
Even the draft, like, I don't know how they managed to come up with that. But
Seriously.
I heard they had a coach.
No way.
Yeah, they got 2 coaches actually.
2?
Yeah. Well, it's basically 1.
That's fucked up. All right, see you guys at 9 p.m. Let's go get some brewskis.
Time to drink some beers. JK. Unless.
Oh, what an end there. Production saved me a little bit because I threw it to BennyQ. Once again, BennyQ struggle a little bit on the fight, but you give it back at the end, a pentakill for Haddix to close out the game. And, of course, you heard the banter at the end there. What a finish from the Fonzo fam.
I mean, Haddix finished that game better than I ever could have. I mean, casting-wise, like, nothing I could have said about that pentakill would have been better than, all right, boys, see you at 9. Let's go get some brewskis. Honestly, business as usual. It may have looked like sieging was difficult, but like I said, Fonzo fam didn't want to fight at Phoenix, man. They didn't want to push in. They didn't like the first date situation. They wanted to win the fight in the jungle, which is exactly what happened. BennyQ thought they had a good engage. BennyQ and Ben stepped forward, but the tanks get let out to dry after the poke comes through. It was just a little bit too much to deal with.
Yeah, they needed to change the fight around, and they certainly did change the fight around. You talk about how the engage goes. You try and find a little bit of damage early on. I don't even know how Haddix came up with the pentakill in the end. It felt like he was just clearing off people who were already lower than 20%. Like, he finds the execute, and after that, he has a field day.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, you could hear Ven. He's like, this Kuang's owning me. He didn't have any beads. He didn't have any way to immune the execute. Then once it comes through, the chase down. The rest of the team follows up so well. Aqua dives to the backline. Variety was a good bait tool as well. This Bellona ADC, we had some question marks about. But man, those lessons, the lessons in were clutch as far as I'm concerned. That was the real difference maker. Learning exactly what was going on through the Fonzo fam's head. Their target selection seemed to be what won the day.
And, I mean, you heard it at the end with the banter there a little bit, but the results would certainly agree with the banter. Soul laners greater than symbol mid laners.
that is what was said. I don't know if I am.
Well, the stats say it, right? We had just had 2 solo laner versus mid laner matchups.
Okay, you're right. Analytically, that does check out.
Right.
But fineokay did say any good play they made was just luck. So I'll go with that. You're right. Unlucky for the mid laners. They just didn't get lucky enough, and we get to see the Penta. Man, he got 2 just with the exit of the ult. I didn't even realize. That does not that much damage in consideration of the rest of his abilities.
The Quadra popped up before the triple kill did. Like, both kills come through at exactly the same time, and you see it come through there in the stats. 11, 4, and 5. He was 6, 4, and 5. Before the end of that fight there. Grabs 5 in the end. Some great stat lines as well from the support characters. 1, 1, and 15 from fineokay. Maybe challenging Awesome Jake a little bit on that Aphrodite support. And Aquarius as well. Some high assists right there. I think they made good use of the global pressure. I think they played into their composition well. I think like it was just a clean game. It felt like at all stages. Dual Q looked good as well, but it almost feels like once you got to the teamfight stage, they only had that one fight win, and it ended up being an overstep.
Yep, I think that was the big difference maker, of course, but it still did seem like the Fire Giant fight was going to be what decided the game regardless, and Duo Q felt like they could burn it in a 5v5 setting with everyone full HP before they showed up. A little bit of an overstep a second time as well. You could tell. It was like, can we even confirm EFG? Can we get out? And they just took a little bit too much damage from the objective. And again, target selection certainly better there from Fonzo family.
Yeah, it was definitely a question mark there, and they didn't feel like they were all on the same page in that last fight. Obviously, nobody having that huge secure ability. The EFG gets a toss-up. Fonzo fam grabs the EFG, and the rest is history.
The rest is a pentakill, I believe. I think that's what the rest of it was. As far as what I saw, it's like Haddix just diffed him.
Well, we can find out what the rest was. We've actually got an interview with Haddix. J-Mac standing by.
That's where I got Haddix, normally solo laner, but this time a jungler here for the solo lane team, for the Fonzo fam specifically. First off, how's it feel being able to get the first pentakill of the tournament? You seeing so many quadra kills that came through. We got to listen in a little bit during that one, but how are you feeling after getting a big win like this?
We're feeling great, feeling confident. Expected this win, honestly. We were down game 2. We knew it was going to be simple. Honestly, I didn't even know it was a penta until after the game. Alex said, like, get the penta, and I guess it was a penta.
Just another day in the office for you over here. How does it feel now knowing that solo laners are not just one of the better roles because, well, there's 2 of y'all moving on into the semifinals, but you're better than both of the mid lane teams knocking them out? How does it feel knowing that you guys have fully knocked out an entire role from the tournament?
There's no doubt in my mind what was going to happen in this tournament. We knew what was going to happen. That's why we had a bye. Solo laners have a bye because we didn't have to put down the little pups early, you know? I'm expecting to see the other solo laners in the finals, and I'm excited.
And one final thing for you. What do you have to say to the aspiring mid laners who may one day have to run into the brick wall that is the solo lane?
I don't know. They're going to have to do some practicing. Like, I don't know.
Well, big win for you, Haddix and the Fonzo fam. Congratulations on your win. We'll see you in your next semifinal. We're going to throw it back over to the desk.
That is some confidence.
Oh, yeah. He was oozing confidence.
Yeah, I wish I could walk around with my head held that high with that kind of confidence.
Well, we're not solo laners. I don't know if you are. I'm not. I'm a mid laner.
Solo.
That's why. I just mentally got put in the dirt by those boys. So what can I do? You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. Let's take a look at the bracket. We'll see how our semifinals are rounding out. We've got the Soul Lane Sluggers going up against Revenge Tour, and we've got the Fonzo fam going up against the NBKs. It's now on the junglers and the ADCs to try and see if they can stop the solo lane dominance. But we'll know by the end of the day if we have a solo versus solo finals or if another role is looking to step up and take the crown. Do you have your money on the solo laners? You lean in towards the assassins? I'm a jungler, so I'm a little bit biased.
I mean, Revenge Tour's been looking clean. I think as far as the NBKs go, we have a very exciting semifinals. That's what I will say, because the solo laners, of course, they're a little bit scary right now. Everyone's a little bit intimidated. You know, they come through, they make it look clean, but it wasn't like a shutout. You know what I'm saying? That these games went long. There was some missteps. There is certainly room to punish. A lot of mistakes were made. That wasn't the cleanest game of SMITE I think any of us have ever seen. So there's no reason to have like a David versus Goliath situation, right? I think assuming that you can succeed in a matchup like this is still very important.
Well, still plenty more SMITE to be played, but that'll do it for us on set number 2. We'll throw it to a break. We'll be back with set number 3.